on TikTok. Hopefully, okay, the hope is, of course, that there's going to be maybe like one person out of the 9,000 that are watching right now to be a Trump supporter that wants to have a conversation with me. So if that's you, go and put a Trump with your age down below in that chat. What's up? Do you support Trump, Curtis?
Dean, can you hear me?
Yeah, are you MAGA?
I just want to say real quick, man, I'm a minority.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Don't let people discourage you from speaking out for minorities. You do a great job. I just wanted to tell you that. Well, right? Because I know you get a lot of criticism with that. You do a great job. I support your work, and I appreciate you speaking on these issues as someone who's not a minority. That's all I want to say. Well, so have a good day.
I hope you have a good day as well, man. Take care, dude. Take care. Have a good day. I hope you have a great day. Like I said, we are going to move on to the next guest just because we are looking for Trump supporters. But I do appreciate you for your support, man. I hope you have a good day. What's up? You are definitely not a Trump supporter. Okay, we need to go ahead and have a very serious, one-to-one talk right now, 1 to 10,000 talk. Guys, please only join the queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Trump as president. Please, okay? The beginning of these streams, they're always a little bit rough. If you've been here before, if you've been an early bird, if you've like rewatched the VOD on YouTube, you know that it is a little bit rough for the first 10 minutes while we're still trying to get the droves of the Trump supporters in here. But hey, listen, please, if you guys could just help me out here by following the rules, if you could help me out by giving me confidence that every single person who is in the queue is an American adult that supports Trump, it would be incredibly meaningful to me. Now, we're going to move on to the next guest right now. Once again, follow the rules. Just be an American adult that is MAGA. What's up, Kendall? Do you support Trump?
Do you remember me? I'm from yesterday. I love you again.
Okay, Kendall. I'm going to go ahead and kick you for the reason being that you're breaking the rules. Come on, Kendall. Moving on. Here we go. All right. Let's go to get that next guest up in here. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Hey, Dean, why are you such a bitch, man?
Well, I'm going to go and assume that does mean that you support Trump. Whoa, and Trump. That's a curveball. Yeah. All right. Well, Mr. Curveball, I'm going to have to kick you because we're just looking to talk to Trump supporters. You have a good rest of your day, though, bro. Moving on to the next guest, we got RDI loading up into the box. Yeah, Mr. Plot Twist was breaking the rules over there, so got to move on to the next guest. Here we go. Hop in that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Trump. We are really going through the motion of all the rule breakers over there. And that was like a 7-year-old kid. Wow, okay. The Trump supporters are just in hiding. We're going to move on to the next guest, Zaid. Here we go, everyone. Holy shit. Okay, we got Daniel loading up, and Daniel's already disconnected. Sometimes, especially at the beginning of the live streams, I feel like an auctioneer. Like, there's about a billion things going on at once. I'm like loading gas up, then kicking them, then loading another one up, then kicking them, then loading up another one, then kicking them, because they're all breaking the rules. No one will follow them. And this is how it goes for the first 10 or so minutes. We're already like 9 minutes into the stream on TikTok. So, if history repeats itself, we should have a guest up here soon. What's up, King Duffy? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do. So why aren't you at Charlie Kirk's memorial right now, bro? I'm 19, 2006. Why aren't you at the memorial right now?
Because why would I be? What? So tell us, why do you support Trump?
I thought he was a buddy of yours. Like, not that you supported him, whatever, but like you knew of him.
He wasn't a buddy of mine, Duffy. So go ahead, tell us why you support Trump.
Well, no, you still didn't answer my question.
Yeah, because we're not here to talk about Charlie Kirk's memorial, where I watched a guy tell people to
keep avoiding my.
We're not here to talk about Charlie Kirk's memorial, where, by the way, I tuned in for 5 seconds. I saw someone say that they need to serve Charlie Kirk like they serve Jesus. And I tuned out. That was crazy. We're here to talk about why you support Trump. So if you want to tell us, that'd be nice.
Can you stop muting me, bro? Just let me talk.
No, I actually will not stop muting you, and I will not let you talk
unless you're talking about the topic of the live. Look how angry you are. Go hit your anxiety pen, bro.
I mean, I think the only individual here that is angry would be you, because you're being forced to follow boundaries, and that's something that Republican men are really bad at.
Oh yeah, yep, bro.
So give us one reason why you think that Donald Trump is a good president.
I came up here to talk about Charlie. You couldn't answer my question.
Awesome. So I'm going to go and kick you and move on to the next guest. I think the only joke here is you, because you just told me and everybody else watching the live stream that you literally cannot give an argument why you support the president that you do. That's embarrassing. Okay. But unfortunately, it's not a joke, because it's not funny, as that is just a fact of millions of Americans, where you and so many other people don't care about reason, don't care about thought, don't care about logic, and instead you choose to be part of a cult and support a president with no reason at all, and aiding and abetting in the destruction and erosion of this country, its core values, and the people within it. That's not a laughing matter. So, my jab back at you saying I'm not the joke you are, well, that was false because it's not a joke. It's serious. And that's why we're here. That's why we do these streams, to talk to people that support Trump as president. But no one wants to talk to me back. And if the last 11 minutes of the stream don't prove it to you, I don't know what will. In the last 11 minutes, we've seen people come up here, get angry. We've seen people come up here, try to change the subject. But we haven't seen one single person come up here and give us one good reason why Trump is exceeding at his job of being the president. Is it maybe because he's not? Is it maybe because he's a bad president that you shouldn't support? That's where I'm going to put my money, unless somebody watching that is an American adult that supports Trump as president wants to come up here and prove me wrong. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Hop in that queue if you support Trump. Once again, for the last time, we're going to try to get that next guest loaded up in here right now. What's up, Lost in Reality? Are you MAGA?
Yes.
You're also 14. So it looks like, like the 14-year-olds that support Trump are willing to come up here and give it their best shot. But, the adults are nowhere to be seen. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go. What's up, Colton? Do you support Trump? Monkey! Nope. Still looking. Still searching, by the way. 15,000 people in the live stream. Still searching for one person that supports Trump. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yep.
And how old are you?
18, 2007.
What month?
June 1st.
Awesome. Let me go and thank a handful of people. Alma, thank you so much for the $20 donation over on PayPal. Saying, Dean, thank you so much for teaching myself and others. I've learned so much from you. That's awesome, Alma. That is literally why I do the streams. It makes me so happy you learned something from them. Shout out to Alma. Show some love to Alma down below in that chat. As well as Oscar, thank you for the $11 and the 11 cents over on Venmo. And let's see here. One last donation. Madison Jace with the $10 on Super Chat. I really appreciate you guys for the love. Go ahead and take it away. Tell us why you support Trump as president.
I think Trump is the best president in the world, to be honest. The economy is booming right now. Everything is just perfectly fine.
According to whom is the economy booming? According to whom is the economy booming? He left? He left! Dude! One day, and I always feel that day is close. I always feel that day is close. One day, we're no longer going to be able to do these live streams, even though we'll be able to get concurrently 20,000 or 30,000 people in here. One day, we're not going to be able to do these live streams anymore because there will not be a single human soul out of the 30,000 that are watching that's willing to debate me. That one day, that's going to happen. And I feel like we get closer to that day every day. But I'm not giving up yet. So let's go ahead and give it, our best shot here. We're going to look back at that queue. Make sure if you're in that queue, you are confidently an American adult that supports Trump as president. And let's try to get that next guest loaded up in here right now. Go ahead and put a Trump with your age down below in that comment section if you want to skip the line. I will also be loading up people from the comment section, but let's go to get that next guest, Daniel, loaded in. What's up, Daniel? Do you support Trump?
I'm not age, but
All right, I got to kick you, dude. Got to kick you. We are going to be very quickly, swiftly, and promptly banning everyone that doesn't follow the rules. It is the only way to try to hold productive dialogue. Moving on to the next guest. We pulled somebody up from the chat. Let's see if they load in here. We got CXN loaded in, and CXN is not loaded in, so we're going to have to go and kick them too. Moving on, we see that Ethan is spamming Trump20 down below. Ethan, I sent you an invite. If you could accept that, it'd mean the world. No one wants to talk to me. It's like, it looks like we got someone loading up. What's up, Ethan? Do you support Trump?
You're the best TikToker ever.
Please stop it, Ethan. You were in the comment section spamming Trump. I do really appreciate you for the love, but come on, guys. Come on, y'all. You know I appreciate y'all. I really do, but especially when we're going through periods like this where we can't find a single person to debate. We got to be able to keep, the trolling to a bare minimum. Now, let's go to move on to the next guest. We got Riley Snow loading into the live. Here we go, guys. What's up? Do you support Trump, Riley?
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
I'm 18, September 12th, 2007.
Okay, wow. So you just turned 18. Do you have like AirPods, headphones, a headset plugged in that you're talking to me through?
Yes, sir.
If you disconnect that, you'll sound better. But if you can't disconnect that, no worries because you don't sound terrible as is.
I got it.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And welcome back. Go ahead and give it a try.
Is that better?
It is better. Awesome. It is better. Here, real quick before I pass you the mic to hop into why you support Trump, I want to thank a handful of people. Tabitha, thank you so much for the $30 donation over on Venmo. Tabitha, that is very, very kind of you. I want to see 300 Tabitha W's down below. Thank you so much. Tabitha says, for doing what you do best, I love watching you, and I love what you and Parker do for the younger generation. Tabitha, that is incredibly kind, and I really am so happy that you enjoy the streams. As well as Jasmine, thank you for the $10.10 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love. And Lauren with the $10 as well, saying that some of these guests are insufferable, but I enjoy being in the stream nonetheless. Well, it's awesome, Lauren. Appreciate you so much for your kindness. As well as there's a handful of people over on PayPal that I need to thank, but we'll get around to that in a second. We'll let the guests start their argument. Take it away. Why are you MAGA?
Trump has had plenty of accomplishments. Specifically, he has very good, shit, man, I'm fumbling, man. He appointed 3 Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch, he confirmed to over 200 federal judges. He signed Tax Cuts and Job Acts in December 2017, lowered corporate tax rate, provided tax cuts for individuals, doubled the standard deduction, and increased child tax credit. Do you need me to list more, or do you want to break that down first?
Well, just choose one reason why you support Trump, and we'll start there.
The tax reform mainly. Signed the three points I cut out for there.
Okay, and why did you like his tax reform?
Well, he signed the Tax Cuts and Job Acts in 2017, which lowered the corporate tax rates.
But I'm asking, why do you like the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act?
Because it helps with the economy of America today.
Helps with the economy of America today. So we actually saw that 2 Harvard economists, one right-leaning and one left-leaning, did a cohort analysis and study on the outcome of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. And what they tell us is that it only attributed to 0.04% GDP growth per year annually. Keep in mind that it cost $2 trillion. It costs more than it made the American economy. So overall, it was a net loss.
Man, you got me. But he's done a lot. He's done a lot of shit. Like, he's still deported. Man, just get somebody else in here, man.
Are you sure? Like, no one else wants to talk to me besides you. If you want to try to give another argument, I'll happily let you.
He did. He withdrew from the nuclear deal.
Chris, I have that. Galaxy. Yeah, he did withdraw from the JCPOA, which was a bad move. That allowed and greenlit Iran into the further construction of nuclear weapons, which, according to Trump, is one of the greatest threats to America and our ally in the Middle East of Israel. Not to say that I support Israel, but once again, it is just an internal contradiction of his view, where he's the one that greenlit Iran into doing something that he inevitably thought was a great threat to our best friend.
Yeah, but he did that. But that means that the fact that he withdrew from it means that he's pushing U.S. off of the list to be attacked.
Well, point number one, even if what we assume you're saying here is true, that, because he pulled us out of the deal, then they wanted to attack us. Well, guess what? They agreed to the deal in the first place because it was mutually beneficial to them, because it led to America relinquishing sanctions on the country of Iran. So actually, us agreeing to this mutually beneficial deal with Iran, Iran agreeing to this mutually beneficial deal with the U.S., and then the U.S. pulling out of it less than 3 years later, actually puts more of a stain on the image of the United States of America in the eyes of Iran. So if they were to attack anybody, you're wrong.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a possibility, but you can never know for sure.
Well, I'm just simply saying that you're acting as if us pulling out of this nuclear agreement was a good thing for Iran. But no, Iran thought that was a bad thing. They liked the agreement. It helped them. It relinquished sanctions and allowed their economy to grow. They liked it. So us pulling out of it, us ending that agreement, in their eyes, hurt them.
All right. can I go on to a different point? The judicial appointments. He appointed the 3 Supreme Court justices. Do you know who those 3 are?
I mean, I don't know their names, but I know that he made 3 appointments. I don't understand why that would be like a good thing that he did during his term that makes you support him today. We had 3 justices die or resign from 2017 until, January of 2021. So whoever was president would have made 3 appointments. I don't know why this would make Donald Trump a good president.
I just want to make sure, because you constantly make. I don't want to say you constantly diss on Trump, saying but you don't know all the facts, you don't even know the names of these people.
Yeah, I don't feel as if I need to know the specific names of the justices in order to give a coherent response to your argument. Once again, I just gave a coherent response to your argument without mentioning their names. That being that shouldn't specially indicate that he's a good president because, as I already said, we had 3 justices either die or resign from 2017 until 2021. So whoever was president in those 4 years would have made 3 appointments, regardless if it was Trump or Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. He made the U.S. become a net energy exporter for the first time in decades.
Tyler, I appreciate you for the galaxy. Well, actually, we imported less oil and we produced more oil under the Biden-Harris administration. So if that's going to be a positive reflection on a presidential candidate, all that you're telling me here is that Kamala Harris was better than Trump in the 2024 election, meaning it would make no sense if you were to support Trump as president today, given the alternative that we could have had. And you could see those stats on EIA.gov. So the most oil ever produced in a given month under Trump in his first term was in December of 2019 at 12.9 million barrels of oil per day. Meanwhile, from July of 2023 until the end of the Biden-Harris administration, we produced over 13 million barrels of oil per day. That's on EIA.gov.
Yeah, you might have. Yeah, you might have produced that much oil, but how much were people actually using due to the inflation of gas products?
Well, the consumption of oil domestically shouldn't concern your argument of producing more than we import, right? And once again, we had lower imports under the Biden-Harris administration because Russia invaded Ukraine, so we stopped buying Russian oil, and OPEC reduced their output by 10%. But the domestic consumption of oil shouldn't really matter. But if for whatever it's worth, we do see an increase in the consumption of domestic oil nearly every single year in this country.
Yeah. What about the CARES Act? Do you have anything to say about that?
What's the CARES Act?
Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing?
Oh, that was a stimulus bill for COVID. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, good. All right. I just want to make sure because that was a mutual thing that people would normally say. I just want to make sure that you weren't saying that everything about him was bad. Everything he doesn't do anything good.
Dan, I thank you for the motorcycle. Is there anything else that you want to go over here before we move on to my next guest?
Border security.
What is one thing that Donald Trump has done in the last 200 days to make the border more secure?
Maybe not in the last 200 days, but in the 4 years of 2016 to 2020,
what is one bill that he passed in from 2017 until January of 2021 to implement better border security that you were a fan of?
I don't know exactly. I just turned 18. I didn't follow it back then, but
well, then what I recommend you doing is doing some research on that before you attempt to make an argument out of it. And I don't mean that with any shame or conviction in my heart against you, but it's just something that's intelligent to do if you want to debate the subject.
Yeah. Donald Trump was also the first audit of the Department of Defense.
The first audit of the Department of what did he do specifically?
I don't know. Give me a second. I gotta look back through my notes.
While you're looking through your notes, Libyan's thoughts. I appreciate you for the $10 over on Super Chat saying the more I watch these streams, the more I realize that the only reason they support Trump is because they need a place to vent their hatred. So they blame everyone but themselves for their sad lives. I mean, that's definitely true for a lot of Trump supporters. I feel like they typically fall into one of 3 categories, if not the categories kind of overlap. Lack of knowledge, or being misinformed, or being hateful. Being ignorant, misinformed, or hateful. It's typically one of those 3 categories, if not a combination of them. As well as, dude, this is just outrageous. But Jay, thank you so much for the $125 donation over on PayPal. Jay, that is fucking nuts. Thank you so much, Jay. Let's get 1,000 JWs down below in the comment section. That is so incredibly kind of you, Jay. I do not deserve that. That is fucking ridiculous. Jay with $125 says, really bad day today. Bad, but Dean is on and then Parker's later. So it is a good day after all. Jay, I'm so fucking happy that what we do here makes you happy. It really does. I hear that from you and a handful of other people. It fills my heart with joy knowing that I have a meaningful impact on those around me. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that with me, Jay. And thank you for the $125 donation. As well as Caitlin, thank you for the... I actually have a question for you, sir.
Okay.
Do you consider yourself to be a patriot?
Patriot? No.
No, you're
I
not.
consider myself to be a conservative.
Maybe I should re-ask my question here. Do you care about the Constitution?
Oh, yes.
Do you care about the Constitution? Why do you support Trump, given that he has infringed on like 5 amendments in the last 200 days? Most notably and most recently, saying that it is literally illegal for people to criticize him in the media.
He didn't say it was necessarily illegal.
Yeah,
he said that it... Where and when?
Yeah, in the Oval Office and on Air Force One, the day before yesterday and the day before yesterday.
Do you know exactly what 5 constitutional amendments that he changed?
That he's infringed upon? Yeah, the first,
yes.
The second, the 14th, and he called for a termination of the 22nd.
Yes. Do you know... I'm gonna be honest. I know the second. I don't know what the other ones of those. like.
Okay.
Off to the top of my head.
I think I'm gonna move on to the next guest, man. I do hope you have a good rest of your day, though, bro. All right.
Thanks.
I'm sorry. I felt bad. I felt bad there. So. We're gonna move on to the next guest, guys. Go ahead and hop in that queue if you support Trump as president. We're gonna get you loaded up in here. Go ahead and hop in the queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Trump as president. We're gonna get you connected. Lynn, I really appreciate you so much for the galaxy. Thank you so much. And for that last guest, you're telling us that you literally turned 18 like a week ago. My best recommendation for you would to do as much research as you possibly can, like in the next couple months, and hopefully you'll come out of the other end on the right side of history. But for now, we're gonna move on to the next guest. I really appreciate you so much for the galaxy licks. Thank you so much. And what is going on, Kevin? Do you support Trump?
Yo, what's up, man? Nah, bro. Fuck Trump, to be honest.
Well, super based. Unfortunately, I have to kick you from the live for literally being too based. We're specifically looking to talk to people that are less based than you are by trying to find Trump supporters to come up here and have a conversation with us. So we're going to move on at this point in time. I hope you have a good rest of your day, Mr. Kevin. What's up?
Yo.
You support Trump?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
20.
20. Okay, what year were you born in?
Yeah. 2004.
Okay, what month?
All right.
What month of 2004?
Ooh, I didn't think you were going to pick me. All right.
What month of 2004 were you born
October.
Okay. All right. Yeah, they'll make you 20.
October.
I'll choose to believe it. It sounded like you genuinely didn't hear my question there. Now, before I give the mic to you to give us an argument insofar as why you support Trump, I need to thank a handful of people here. Olivia, it's so good to see you again. Thank you for the $20 over on Venmo. Olivia says, once again, one-sided intelligence. Olivia, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for the $20. Let's get 200 Olivia W's down below. As well as Angel, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. And Hannah, thank you so much for the 30. Holy fuck, dude. Thank you so much, Hannah. Hannah with a 30 says, on Venmo, found your account 4 days ago, and I've been absolutely hooked. I've been learning so much from you, and it's already influenced me to keep doing my own research and learning more when it comes to politics. Appreciate you for doing what you do. Keep it up. Hannah, you are the goddamn reason why I do the stream. One of many that is so awesome that I've been able to influence you to do more research. That is exactly what I fucking want, and that is exactly what the world needs. So good for you, Hannah. Show some love to Hannah down below in the chat while we let the guests take it away and tell us why they're MAGA. Go ahead. You got to come back to the live.
Oh, I was trying to read something. Okay. So basically, you said earlier you were asking that one guest to name one bill that Trump implemented to help border security. And one bill he did, to help with that, was the Big Beautiful Bill.
I need to ask you a question. You sound young. You sound young. I'm going to be honest, and we just got to look out for minor safety on the live. Are you really 20 years old?
Oh. Yes, I am.
Okay. I'm not going to ask to see it, but do you have a driver's license?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're driving on the road, what does a dotted yellow line next to a solid yellow line mean? If you're on the side with the dotted yellow line?
Bro, what?
If you're driving on a road and there's a dotted yellow line next to a solid yellow line in the middle of the road, and you're on the side with the dotted yellow line, what does that mean for you as a driver? And I think that she's leaving. Yeah, she left. Okay. Well, that's the way to catch them. Now, that is a surprisingly like accurate like fetus catcher. Which is like, it doesn't make sense to me because you can be under 18 and have a driver's license, meaning that you have to know the answer to the question. But like every single time we've asked that question, it has been people that are 18 and above know the answer and people that are 18 and under don't know the answer. Which is like strange, right? For the reasons I just said. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the next guest right now. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Oh, hey, I didn't think you were going to pick me. Hey, Dean. Yeah, I do. I'm sure you want to know why.
I do. How old are you?
I'm 29, going on 30.
All right, man. Yeah, man, go ahead and take it away. Tell us why you support Trump as president.
Yeah, I support him because I feel like, first of all, before I say why I support him, it's kind of, I just wanted to address something that's related.
Are you calling COD? Are you playing Call of Duty?
I was playing Borderlands, actually. The new Borderlands that just came out.
I'm going to be so honest, man. Like, if you're like trying to debate me and play like a game, it's just not going to be like.
I paused it, look.
All right, man. Take it away.
My fault. So what was it? I support him, first of all, because I feel like, in terms of like the division that's in our country right now, I feel like, he's kind of like lesser of the two evils in that regard. And on that, I do want to kind of commend you, first of all. I don't really agree with like a lot of the stuff that like a lot of your viewpoints or whatever, but like the raw reaction that you had when that tragedy happened, I have to say I got to give it to you, man. Like it's you were fair about it and you condoned it on both sides of it.
We probably so on the live, we probably get maybe like 3 or 4 Trump supporters that'll come up here every single day for the last week or so that have shared your sentiment and made the same comment. And this has been my response to everybody that's made that comment so far, and this will be my response to you. The silver lining I see out of what you just said is that maybe because you see something in me that you think you like for whatever miscellaneous reasons, I can use that as an opportunity to try to change your mind on why the hell you support Trump. And that's about all I got to say about that for the moment being. So that's the silver lining. I'm gonna try to act on that silver lining now by responding to your first comment. Now, this is what I would like to say. You told us that you support Trump for the first reason being the division that we've seen in the country. Well, every single time I hear an argument from a Trump supporter describing to me how Kamala Harris, for instance, caused division in the country, it was because she said things that were true, or she said things that she had good reason to believe would be true in the future, right? Like saying that Donald Trump was going to send the military after the citizens. You're going to look at that and you're going to be like, oh, that's so divisive. But then guess what ended up happening? Meanwhile, when you ask a liberal...
when did that happen?
Oh, yeah, when he declared, quote-unquote, war on Chicago and D.C. by deploying the National Guards and then posted an AI picture on Twitter of him and airplanes going over the city dropping bombs. Now, when conservative asks a liberal, well, how does Trump cause division? That's where we go down to the fact that he has a snarky nickname for every single Democrat in Congress. He has literally said that he hates all Democrats. He has caused division by fulfilling all 14 characteristics and tenets of fascism as described in the literature, identifying an enemy as a unifying cause for his base. He has been scaring Americans and causing division by saying that undocumented immigrants, they all escaped mental asylums and prisons to come into this country and eat your pets, rape your wife, and kidnap your kids, even though they're just here for a better life and are less likely to commit violent crimes than natural U.S.-born citizens, so on and so forth. If you care about division in American politics, you should look no further than by starting with the divisiveness of President Trump.
Well, I think that's fair. And just to be clear, you point out some decent points about the division that the right sort of kind of portrays out. Like I'll give you an example. Like the speech after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I personally thought was a little too divisive. So I get that part of it, But when you have people like Hillary Clinton calling Trump supporters a basket of deplorables, wouldn't you say that like it goes on that kind of goes the
Hillary
same
Clinton
way
hasn't been relevant in American politics in the last 10 years.
But that's not the point that I'm making.
Exactly, that's not going to be the point that you're making at all, because instead of like starting off with the fact that our current sitting U.S. president, Mr. Trump, said yesterday that it is now illegal to criticize him in the media, instead of you starting off with the fact that he's ripping families apart and there's been a confirmed 510 instances of human rights abuse by ICE towards undocumented immigrants in the last 8 months, instead of starting off with the fact that Donald Trump said that he hates all Democrats, or is now passing policy that has led to 60 pregnant rape victims per day being denied access to abortion, or passing policy that is reducing the purchasing power of 160 million American citizens, you instead want to go back to 2015 and talk about some offshoot comment that Hillary Clinton made. Like we're talking about here, how the hell you still support Trump as president? And I feel like the only way you could possibly justify that support is to ignore all the blatantly atrocious shit that he's doing right now, and then reference offshoot comments by no longer relevant politicians from 10 years ago.
Hang on a second. No, I'm not ignoring it.
So then how can you still support him as president when he's doing these things?
I just quite frankly, I think and like I said, I think both parties suck. I just think that when it comes to the sort of direction that we're going in as a country, I'd rather him over the other party.
Okay, what is one good thing that he's done in the last 8 months?
The stuff that he's done with the tariffs, I think has been pretty good.
Why is that?
I think was getting rid of a lot of the trade deficits that we're having. When you look at the numbers and stuff, and look at how much we're in debt and how he's trying to tackle that by eliminating a bunch of the unnecessary spending, and a bunch of stuff like that. I do generally support that idea of trying to get the economy back on track and raising wages in that regard. Now, is it perfect? No,
can I hop
but
in
I
here?
think that. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So you just said that you support him because reducing the debt and taking away wasteful spending. The Congressional Budget Office, which is partisan, run by Republicans, how much do they estimate the big beautiful bill will cost?
There's a couple trillion over the course of 10 years, if I'm not mistaken.
$4.5 trillion.
Yeah, about that, right?
And how much debt did the Biden-Harris administration sign into law in 4 years, including COVID-related expenditure?
I think it was like half that, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, it was the same, 4.5 trillion. If you ignore their COVID-related expenditures, 2.2 trillion, so half that.
Yeah.
So
I
think it's incredibly antithetical to reality for you to suggest that you support Trump as president because you think that he's going to effectively reduce the debt when he is now signed into law the most expensive bill in this country's history, totaling the same amount of money spent by the Biden-Harris administration in 4 years, and he got that done in 2 months. Not to mention the first administration spent twice as what the Biden-Harris administration spent, clocking in at $8.6 trillion.
Yeah, no, so my question for you, though, is that, with the tariffs and everything, wouldn't it offset that because you'd be able to use a lot of that revenue to fund a lot of those different things?
According to the CRBF, some of that expenditure will be offset by the tariffs, but ultimately, who pays that? Americans. And who disproportionately pays more, or spends more, on the goods that they consume relative to their whole income? Low-income Americans. So in other words, you're telling us that he's going to attempt to pay for some of the big beautiful bill, which according to the CBPP is going to be a massive redistribution of wealth from the poor to the rich by just implementing yet another regressive tax that will disproportionately impact you the less you make. This doesn't sound like fiscally responsible policy. This sounds like trying to pay for a debt maker that is already hurting low-income Americans so much by just simply hurting low-income Americans more.
All right. I think I got what I needed to hear. I appreciate your time, Dean. Thanks.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to go over? Is that it?
No, that's it, man. Again, thank you again. What was it? I'm glad that we're able to have like a civil conversation about it too. I feel like a lot of times people get in their feelings too much or whatever, and it gets to a point where it doesn't have to be or whatever. So I appreciate the dialogue, man. Thank you.
Well, I guess you have a good rest of your day, dude. Yeah,
he was.
and I know that people be getting in their feelings. I mean, look at how upset Trump supporters are that Starbucks won't make an official Charlie Kirk drink. Woof. Let's go to get that next Trump supporter loaded into the stream here real quick. Hey, Kiki, that's going to be Keiki. Thank you so much for the $20 on Super Chat. Thank you so much for the love. I'm going to go ahead and keep that message to myself. Child, and nonetheless, which I'm sure you are. You sound like a great mom. But that is crazy. That is awesome. Thank you so much for the $20, Kiki. What's going on? 810, do you support Trump?
Yep.
All right. How old are you?
25.
All right, I believe you. I need to thank a handful of people real quick. I've been putting this off. There's like so many kind individuals, y'all. Thank you so much for the love over on PayPal and Venmo. Seriously. Real quick, I would like to thank, let's see here, Jamie. Thank you so much for the $10 on PayPal, saying please keep doing what you're doing. I'm a UK citizen, but you're making a huge difference. Thank you, Jamie. As well as Patricia. Thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal. Patricia didn't leave a message, only love. Thank you so much, Patricia. Let's get 200 Patricia W's. Fucking hell, dude. As well as, let's see here, Danielle. Thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much, Danielle. Let's get 200 Danielle W's, as well as Deanna with the $50. Bro, what the hell? Thank you. Thank you, Deanna. That is D-I-A-N-A. Diana, sorry, not Deanna. I can't speak today. Diana, thank you so much for the $50. Thank you. Diana says, keep up the great work. Love what you're doing. You are a strong voice of our generation. Thank you so much, Diana. That is so very fucking kind of you. Show some love to Diana down below. And then Shauna and Sophia, I appreciate you both for the $5. Then Danielle, thank you for another $20, just expanding on their first message. Thank you so much, Danielle. And then Jace with a $5, and Emily.
Self a conservative or a Democrat?
I would consider myself a little bit further left than the Democrats, more so a progressive.
So you're a Democrat, is what you're saying?
For ease of conversation, sure. Yeah, I vote Democrat. I do.
Oh,
and there's a lot that the
100%.
Democrats do and say that I agree with.
Okay, so
Majority.
you totally support child mutilation. That's kind of messed up, Dean.
I support child mutilation? What the?
Yeah.
Where did this one come from?
Oh, buddy, you're gonna play that one off like it don't exist?
If you want me to be honest with you, like, and this is dark, but it's true. In my mind, the party that truly supports child mutilation, and this is a little bit of a uni-party issue, but right now it's more so seen on the right, is Donald Trump, who will jump however high Israel wants him to, and the rest of Congress that is willing to give as much money to Israel as they want them to then turn around and drop bombs on schools and inflame 5-year-old children and put bullets in the back of their heads. When we talk about American politics and politicians supporting child mutilation, that is the first thing that comes to my head is, the Trump administration's loyal, undying, and unchanging support of Israel, regardless of the ongoing ethnic cleansing.
See, I knew I'd get some snarky little return from you, but listen,
it's not snarky.
I don't think you have children, so you can't, feel this kind of way. But would you allow a man to go into a woman's bathroom with your daughter?
No,
let's be honest.
The only individual.
Let's be real here, okay?
The only individual that allows men to go and the only individual here that allows men to go into the private spaces of naked teens would be you, sir. Donald Trump boasted about doing exactly that on Howard Stern's radio show, and you support him as president. It is so hypocritical for you to sit here and suggest anything.
Where is that? Where is that?
Oh, do you want to listen to it?
And you can fact check it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just want to clarify, if Trump had done this, would you still support him as president? Because it seems like since the moment you've joined this live, you've been very staunchly against the mistreatment of kids, obviously, through your virtue signaling, as you've made it clear to me and everyone else listening. So, if Donald Trump had boasted about perving on the naked bodies of teens and the naked bodies of women, would you ever support him as president again?
What?
If Donald Trump had boasted about walking in unconsensually into the dressing rooms of naked women and naked teens, and he talked about how good they looked when they were naked, would you ever support him as president again?
I don't even think that's real, dude.
to just simply mirror and reflect whatever the courts of the time say, then you would have to say that there wasn't a single enslaved person in American history that was ever graped, since we didn't have a court in American history ever rule that a single enslaved person was graped. And you agreed to that. So we took your logic, we demonstrated why it was flawed, and we
don't say I agreed to that, because I did not agree that there was not a single person that was enslaved that was graped. I did not agree to that.
That wasn't what I was saying. You're agreeing to. Let me make myself
okay.
clear.
I just wanted to clarify. just in case there was any misconception between anybody. I just wanted to make sure.
You are agreeing to the fact that it is a flawed way to think if you define something such as grape based upon what the courts say.
And I would like to reflect on that statement and make sure that I don't want to make sure people think that I think that is okay what Donald Trump was accused of, but I'm saying you can't accuse him of being a grapist necessarily if he wasn't accused in the court of law of being a grapist. That is like saying that how many people have, it's gonna be kind of a little weird, but how many let's say professional sports athletes in the young age coming up and doing their thing have been accused of grape, and decades later it been found wrong that the person has lied? Can we agree that that does happen?
Yeah, we could agree that some low level.
Okay, so I don't necessarily want to put. We can put a label on Trump indefinitely. He's crossed plenty of fucking lines. But this is why I didn't want to talk as this main point, is because I wanted to talk more about a political stance on the thing more than about the moral personality of the man that is in the political stance. Because there's a lot of moral wrongs with a lot of different people right now, and that's not the topic of conversation I wanted to have. I just wanted to talk politically, whether the economy or anybody else, what the average citizen was doing good.
Then let's see if we could just end this conversation right now. Let's see if we could agree
100%
that Donald Trump is a grapist because a court determined that he did something that is grape.
I can agree that he definitely has pig qualities, but I can't necessarily say that he is a grapist because I haven't looked deep enough into the entire situation of it, and I just know that the court of law found him civilly liable and not felony liable for grape.
Okay, so why do you trust criminal courts but not civil courts?
I mean, there's a difference between them. A logical reason, I assume. I mean, I don't know too much about the actual court standing system itself.
What is the difference that makes you distrust civil courts?
Fuck. From being a guy who's been through court himself, I don't fucking know, dude. This is why I didn't want to talk about this conversation, because I'm not as well educated in the topic of civil court and judicial court or federal court. I'm trying to talk about economic status and the living wages of humans. Okay. The American citizen, the average.
Here's what we're going to do.
This is why I didn't want to go in these conversations, because you're trying to pivot into a form of topic that I am not as well versed in as you are.
Okay, the reason why we've been talking about this for the last 15 minutes or so is because you brought it up and you espoused misinformation that I need to correct. This was a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you didn't want to talk about it, then you shouldn't have brought it up. Point blank, period. All right? But there will never be a moment on my live stream, especially when we're in front of such a large group of people, where I will allow a guest to espouse such harmful misinformation. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to thank a handful of people, and then we have to very quickly restart the live stream. It'll take less than 4 seconds, because TikTok TOS has flagged me a handful of times for various random smaller things that I've said. So we got to restart the stream for the... Actually, we'll do that first. For the safety of my account and for the safety of the live. Unfortunately, we got to do this every so often. But what I will ask you to do is to be the first person back in the queue, so then we could go over the reasons why you support Trump related to, as you said, the economy. I'll let you back up. I will. But for everyone watching over on TikTok, keep in mind if you're on YouTube, you won't be touched, you won't be harmed. You just got to stay right there. We have to restart the live because TikTok has flagged me for 2 random miscellaneous things that I've said. I don't even know what. If we get 3 of those flags, my account gets banned, so we have to restart the live and restart those flags, okay? And these restarts literally take 4 seconds. Last time I did one of these restarts, I counted it. It was 4 seconds long. So I'm actually going to tell you quickly how to come back after the restart. If you already know how, that's awesome, because we do this almost every day. In the meantime, if you haven't been here before and you don't know how to come back after the restart, hit that follow button right now in that upper left-hand corner. So at the end of the day, even if you can't follow the instructions that I'm about to describe, you will find me on your following list 10 seconds after we end the stream. Now, if you want to come back even quicker, once I end the live stream, you will see something like this pop up on your phone screen. It'll say live has ended, and it will show you my profile picture. If you click on my profile picture on that live has ended screen, you'll then be directed to my account page. What I want you to do is count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Refresh by swiping down, and then click back into that new live on my profile picture. That's how to come back. Restarts take 10 seconds. You should all come back because we're going to hop right back into the debate with this guy. So let's do that now. Bookie, I'll see you soon. I think that we're all clear on how to come back after the restart.
I can send you like how old are people thinking I am?
No, we just need to confirm your age. So you're born in 05. What month?
July 8th.
Yeah, you'd be 20. I believe you. I don't know why people in the chat don't. If you have compelling evidence that he's not actually 20, feel free to let me know in the chat. But as it stands right now, I believe that he is 20.
It probably looks like in my profile picture that it looks like I'm not 20 years old, but that is a baby picture of me in my profile picture. That is not my current status. That is not my current status of life.
Don't worry, I don't think that's you, bro. And by the way, for everyone watching saying that, like, go look at his videos, he's not 20. His most recent video was from 2020.
Correct. Yeah. So I would be 15 in those videos. Right. So a big thing for me is like abortion. And so I understand that you have a different opinion. I've seen you debate Charlie, and I've seen you have a different idea of when you believe conception is. But when you have you ever seen a real footage of an abortion before?
Have I ever seen real footage of an abortion? No, I've never looked up real footage of an abortion. I mean, I'm familiar with the procedure. I've just never went out of my way to like watch it.
So, I mean, for me, after this, like after I get off here, I'm going to go look at that video where Trump's saying he's never repented for his sins. So I would highly encourage you to go look at that. And for me, the first time I saw it was when I was a senior in high school, when I was 18 years old. And it really, and this was like before, like, it was just something me as like a Christian like decided to do, and it really and truly it will change your perspective on abortion.
It's emotional propaganda. It's an emotional propaganda. So basically, what you're saying is that like you're like so grossed out. That is propaganda at its finest. We cannot yield moral truths via your level of interest or disgust by watching a video of a medical procedure. Okay, because it's a fact. Medical procedures can be a little bit hard to handle, are grossed out and have an insensitivity towards, you know, like blood and guts and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, I bet if you and me were to sit down together and watch a video of back surgery, we would leave that video fucking traumatized if we both share this insensitivity. Does this mean that we think that back surgery is literally immoral? No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all, right? So you can't say the same thing about an abortion. If you want to argue that abortion is immoral, you have to have good reason to find that to be the case. You can't just say that you were grossed out when you watched a video of it.
Okay, so I see what you're saying, but the reason why most people in the Democratic Party believe abortion is okay is because they believe that is not a human being that is being.
Well, I'm asking you why you think it's wrong.
Well, I think it's wrong. Whenever I believe that is a human. I believe that life life happens. Life is started at conception. So whenever you take your time and you watch that video, it changes your idea. And I know what you're saying, that's emotional propaganda, but I would say it's different than a back surgery. Yes, I'm not a doctor, and that would probably gross me out. That probably would. But the difference is whenever you would watch that video, you would understand, wow, okay, that is a living human being. Like that, you're saying like, you're trying to say like, you wouldn't want to okay back surgery because it's gross. No, Well, I'm trying to tell you that when you watch the video, you kind of more understand and realize, like, wow,
okay,
that is a living thing.
You could condense what you're saying down here into like much shorter statements. And I'm not saying this to like get on you and be negative, but you just repeated that you think that abortion is wrong because it's a living human being for 3 minutes. So just like for the flow of our conversation, I think it'd be much better if you were to try to like just keep it to saying things one time. Now, for everyone in the chat spamming first video, I watched his first video. I don't have like audio on it. I mean, it looks weird, but I don't understand like what's going on in the first video. It's like walking up to an adoption center, being like, "What do y'all have?" And then the person at the adoption center seems like really confused. I mean, it's from 2019. If there's like maybe something that he says in the clip that's weird, they're saying to listen to it. You should probably take down that video.
Would you? Okay, I'd like to. That's from 2019, correct?
Yeah.
Would you think that video is racist?
You should take down that video. You should just take down that video. You should just take down that video. You know. I'll get back to our conversation about abortion. You should take.
Yeah, and I'd say there's a lot of a lot of videos. Yeah, I'd say there's a lot of videos that you need to take down. And also to come back to your point, like for the past 30 seconds, you just said you need to take down the video. So I'd say for like the smoothness of our conversation, if you could like condense what you're saying, that'd be much appreciated.
Yeah, you should just take down that video, dude. So to get back to the debate on abortion. We'll continue. Right, yeah. We'll continue here. So you said that you think that abortion is immoral and should be illegal because you think that it's a human life. Okay. So do you think that all human life is innately valuable because of your religion?
I believe everyone. So you're asking me. I think everyone's equal.
I'm just asking if you think that abortion is morally wrong because it's a human life and therefore we should ban it.
Yeah, no. I think everyone is born in the. Are you Christian or what religion? Are you religious or?
No, I'm not Christian. Are you saying that abortion is morally wrong and should be banned because it's like a sin in the eyes of your religion?
No. I'm saying it's wrong because
it's wrong because why?
I'm saying it's wrong because everyone is born with the right to live. Correct? Like everyone deserves a chance to live.
Okay, so you think that like every single human has the right to life. So we could dispute that. I don't think that being merely human would grant you the right to live. Like for instance, brain dead patients are both human and alive. However, can we agree that it's not murder when a doctor like pulls a plug on a brain dead patient?
If the patient no longer has the will to live anymore, and that is their decision, yeah, I would agree. If that is their decision, and a doctor pulls a plug,
it's not then I don't. So like when a brain dead, like if I were to become like brain dead tomorrow, like I don't have like a DNA or DNR or anything, I would be connected to life support, and I have like permanent lack of all cognitive function for now and forever. If a doctor were to pull the plug on me, even though I'm human and alive, they'd be ending my human life. Do you think that'd be murder? Would they be violating?
I would think that that decision should not be made of the doctor. I believe that the family should make that decision.
Oh, well, it is. It's made by the family, then the doctor does it. So would you say there that is murder, that is wrong, that is immoral because they're violating a human's right to live?
No, I would say if the family came together and they made that decision, whether if it becomes like a financial issue or whether, but I mean, we've seen it. Like I've seen many like stories.
Well, so like point number one, all that you're telling us here is that being merely human and alive doesn't grant you the right to life. Because now you're saying the autonomy of the brain dead patient would on the family, but then would it
is that baby like
say critical condition? I don't know what you mean.
So when is there something wrong with the baby that makes it to where whenever like it is born to where it is going to be dependent on life support?
No, we could assume that it'd just be born like a normal baby and be dependent upon, like the adults around it, its parents to like live and grow up and whatnot. However, like I think that you're failing to see the purpose of the analogy that I gave you. There's going to be a bunch of differences between brain dead patients and fetuses. Okay, a shit ton. But the one thing that they have in common, which is what makes the analogy here valid, is that they're both human and alive. And you are the one that told us that you hold to this moral guiding principle that if you are a human that's alive, you have the right to life. However, the analogy of the brain dead patient demonstrates that even you agree that no, being merely human and alive does not give you the right to life, or else you'd say that the brain dead patient has the right to life. So we'll just go back to the instance of abortion here. What gives that fetus the right to live?
Because in that fetus is not, you're comparing a brain dead person to a child. You're comparing that to a baby, to an infant. I don't understand.
And what is the comparison that I'm making? I just told you, and you apparently didn't listen.
Okay,
the comparison is that they're both human and alive, and you're the one that suggested the principle of things that are human and alive have the right to life. Let me try to understand.
The baby is dependent on the mother. That is equal to the brain dead patient being dependent on the life.
No. The one relevant aspect that makes this analogy apply is being human and alive. All that I'm doing here is proving that you do not think that merely being human and alive is enough to grant you the right to live.
What is the quality of life difference in between the baby and the brain dead patient?
It shouldn't matter if you're saying that merely being human and alive is what gives you the right to live. Now, if you want to argue that maybe there's some difference between the quality of the life of a fetus and a brain dead patient, and in that difference, we could see why you think the fetus would have the right to life, but the brain dead patient wouldn't. That's fine. That's just a whole new argument. Your goal, listen, let me make this very simple for you. Your goal is to give me the difference between the brain dead patient and the fetus. That means that the fetus is morally valuable and the fetus has the right to live, but the brain dead patient doesn't. But that difference cannot possibly be if they are a human that's alive, as both the fetus and the brain dead patient are human and alive. Do you get it now?
Okay. Yeah. So I understand it now. So what you're saying is just because what you've said, just because you're human doesn't mean you have the right to live. So what makes it to where you have the right to live?
Now you're asking for my view, right, on what I think makes us morally valuable, but I don't even need to give that to you, right? Because in arguing that abortion is morally wrong, you actually have the burden of proof to demonstrate what traits the fetus has that makes it morally valuable. See, my position in a nutshell is very simple. I don't think it's murder to kill a fetus, and I don't think it should be illegal, as I can't identify anything about that fetus that makes it morally valuable and gives it the right to live. That Odin would rest on you.
Yeah. So what you just said is that how I contradicted myself in saying that a baby does not deserve to live, and that a person that is brain dead does not have the right to live. So what makes you have the right to live?
Okay, you just function in relationship to sentience and or consciousness. I think our ability to subjectively interact with the world around us is what makes us us, and is what makes us morally valuable. So I begin to value it has no moral value, meaning that before that point, it's obviously not wrong to kill, and before that point is when every single elective abortion ever occurs. So
at what point is that for you?
I literally just told you that.
No, yeah, like I'm saying, okay, no. Which week?
20 through 24.
Okay, that's what I was trying. I wasn't saying I was asking what week do you believe that is in? Okay. And I'm not, obviously I don't really necessarily feel like I'm going to change your mind on this. It's going to be I feel like it's going to be a circle.
Well, the issue here is that you just haven't given a coherent position. I was able to dispute your position on why you think abortion is morally wrong and is murder with one sentence, that being the relation to the brain dead patient and how you don't think it's wrong to murder, to kill them, even though it is the case that they're also human and alive. And your argument was that because a fetus is human alive, it's murder to kill them.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Right, so where we're at in the debate now is you gave your position, I disputed it and showed it to be invalid with one statement. I gave my position, and you can't address it at all. So, given the fact that I've been able to dispute and prove that your position is wrong with one statement, and you can't even give any type of response to mine, does this mean that my position is more likely to be valid and true than your position?
No, incorrect. That is just... I'm not going to sit here and... I mean, I've seen your video. I understand that you are dead set on this belief, and I'm not going to sit here and argue with you that you believe that.
Well,
that
we should be dead set on things that are true.
Correct. Yeah, and I believe that it is true according to what I believe in is that life starts at conception, and I understand that
life does start at conception. Occurs, resulting in a unicellular human zygote.
Yes. So that's when you believe life starts?
Yes.
So then if a life is starting at that point and there are abortions happening, then that is, and you are taking away a life, that is the definition of murder.
No, wrong. So murder is not defined as ending life. Murder is defined as wrongly or unjustly ending life. And in fact, you've already affirmed that this is what you think when you told us that you don't think it's murder to pull the plug on a brain dead patient, even though we agree that is descriptively ending life.
Yeah, if the family is supported, but
exactly. See how there you're like explaining in a circumstance where you're killing a human life and it's not murder. So don't try to tell me that killing a human life is the definition of murder.
You're comparing a brain dead person to a baby. You just agreed, and
we're just
it is
finding an applicable
unjust.
scenario of your definition of the word, dude. Listen,
it is the fact that you don't find killing taking away a life, and taking away a life is unjust, especially for a life that has a good quality of life. And
it doesn't have a quality of life. A quality of life would demonstrate a state of well-being. You can't have a well-being unless you have subjective experiences. Do rocks have well-being?
Rocks aren't alive.
Do unicellular bacteria living on your tongue have a well-being?
They don't have a soul. Anything with a soul.
So exactly. So now you're telling us that, yeah, you can't have a well-being without what you define as a soul. When you say soul, what do you mean?
I believe that any human being has a soul, correct? That is what you're...
well, now you're just playing the game again, where now you're saying that what makes you morally valuable is possessing a soul, but then you use the term soul interchangeably with human, or you just think that every human has one, meaning that you'd say that brain-dead patients have a soul, yet you don't think it's wrong to kill them, contradicting your argument for the 7th time.
I'm saying if someone is brain dead, they do not have the mental capacity to understand the quality of life that they are in. They cannot... Right? Are you following so far?
So they don't have a mental capacity to self-actualize their conscious experience?
Yes, but you're comparing... This is the issue. You're comparing
neither do fetuses. Neither do fetuses.
You're comparing a brain-dead person who a baby has a whole life ahead of them that they... I mean, they
You're comparing. I don't know why you keep saying that. Go ahead.
Okay. First off, I've been respectful this entire time. You gotta match the respect. This is why a lot of Republicans... Not necessarily. I mean, I don't want to say, disagree with all your stuff. They find a lot harder to, I would say, relate with you just because of how disrespectful you are.
Okay, I understand that was disrespectful. I apologize.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But you're comparing a brain dead person to and I know we're going back, and I know you wanted me to be direct, but once you get over this one issue, I feel like you would kind of be more open-minded towards it.
Okay, I'm going to try one last time here. Ultimately, is the reason why you think abortion is wrong is because you're Christian.
I think it is wrong because God has given everyone
say that it's wrong because it's murder, you're just describing why you think it's a sin. So ultimately, your position does reduce down to you saying that you think abortion should be illegal because it's a sin, right?
It's in the law as well. It is a sin. It is in a law. There's not a normal person that you could go up to.
Okay, so now you're saying that it's also wrong because it's the law. So is abortion not wrong in states where it's not illegal, like Colorado?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying in states like Colorado, it should be illegal.
Okay, so it's wrong in Colorado, even though it's legal. So the law has nothing to do with this. So once again, is your argument essentially that you think it should be illegal because it's a sin?
Because I believe that I don't know the government's name of Colorado.
I just want to clarify. Do you think abortion should be illegal because it is a sin? Yes or no?
Yes, but it is a sin. It is murder. I mean, you just agreed that murder is wrong.
We're going to go ahead and go over this for the fifth and final time. When you say that when you're saying that it's wrong because it's a sin, that it should be illegal because it's a sin, but also because it's murder, those aren't two different things. You saying it should be illegal because it's a sin and it should be illegal because it's murder are not two different things, right? Because because it's murder, that's just simply describing why it's a sin, right?
Yes.
So ultimately, your position for the fucking last time is that you think abortion should be legal because you think it's a sin.
Yes. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
What denomination of Christianity are you?
Baptist.
Baptist. Okay. Awesome. So you read the Bible, sola scriptura. You don't believe in the normative authority of the church like the Catholics or Orthodox do. Can you please point towards any clear language anywhere in the scripture of the Christian Bible where it says some sins are worse than others?
No, all sins are equal except for blasphemy.
There you go. I agree. All sins are equal apart from blasphemy. So this means that the sin of abortion is equal to the sin of lying to your child and telling them that Santa Claus exists. So if you'd say that abortion should be legal because it's a sin and that sin is equal to that of lying to your child telling them that Santa Claus exists, would you therefore also say that lying to your child and telling them that Santa Claus exists should be illegal too?
No, because there's the laws that are set in the American government do not correlate and do not define the Bible.
Okay, well then you're saying that it's something, you can't merely say that something should be illegal because it's a sin. Well, then your argument that abortion should be illegal because it's a sin falls apart.
So for watching corn, I don't want to get you banned, or I mean, I appreciate you having me on here. So watching corn, that would be a sin. Having
a sin that is equal to that of the sin of abortion, right?
Correct.
Okay, so should watching corn be illegal?
It is on websites in Texas. It is now.
I didn't ask you if it is. I asked you if you think it should be.
No. It isn't. No, it's not illegal. You can do.
I didn't ask you if it is or isn't. I asked you if you think it should be. Why? That's not a hard question to understand.
I believe it should be. Yes.
Okay. So do you also think it should be illegal to lie to your children and tell them that Santa Claus exists?
No.
Oh,
because that is what I believe in. So if it was, I mean, if I could do it, I mean, I think lies are sins, and I think people should not do that. I agree with that.
Wait. Here's my final question. So why should that sin not be illegal, but the other sin of abortion should be legal if all sins are equal?
You're saying if we had the laws just strictly by the Bible, so in America, there's not 100% Christian rate in America. If 100% of Americans were Christians, then yes, we could strictly depict.
That's not what I didn't ask you about.
No. Let me get to it.
I'm cutting you off because I didn't ask you about anybody but you. You're the one that told us, in accordance with your view, you do not think that lying to your child and telling that.
Let me get there.
Just listen. You said from your perspective, from your Christian perspective, that should not be legal, right?
Okay, yeah, you have to let me explain it first.
So dude, we're only talking about you here. Why do you think that sin number 1 shouldn't be illegal, but sin number 2 should be legal? Keeping in mind sin number 1 is lying to your child about the existence of Santa Claus, and sin number 2 is getting an abortion. Given that you also think all sins are equal, why are you treating these two sins so differently and arguing that one should be legal and the other should be illegal if you also affirm that these two sins are literally equal?
For me, if I see someone, if someone goes 5 miles past the speed limit and someone kills someone, obviously I'm going to feel a lot more hostile towards the person that murdered, because I am not God. It's hard for me to see all sins equally.
Is God perfect?
That is something I struggle with. What'd you say?
Is God perfect?
Yes.
Is God always right?
Yes.
So this means that if you disagree with God, you're wrong?
Yes.
So your argument to entail that abortion should be illegal is wrong.
I'm wrong. I just said that. I just said that. That is something hard for me to understand.
Okay,
that
so you
because I'm
concede the
wrong.
debate.
I'm not perfect in my religion yet.
So
I'm
then you
not.
concede
I'm
the debate.
20 years old. I can what?
Then you concede the debate. You just said that you're wrong.
No, I'm saying that based on where I'm at right now. Let me explain to you. Let me go back to my point earlier. If 100% of Americans were Christian, then yes, and that's what we agreed upon. Then yes,
Would
we
you agree
could
with that?
have the Bible. What?
Would you agree to criminalizing lying to your child about the existence of Santa Claus?
Yes. Yeah.
So in order to argue that women shouldn't be able to access healthcare, you also have to argue that children shouldn't be able to experience Christmas and Santa Claus.
Well, let me keep going. Don't interrupt me, okay? I've been super respectful to you, all right? So when we could have that law, that, we could line up the Bible with that law, and I believe, America would be peace. I believe America would be a lot better. But we do not have 100% Christian rate in America, and God gave us free will. So why would we want to make everything listed in the Bible, Christian laws, shove down people who, let's say, are atheists or Muslim or don't believe in anything at all? Why would we shove that down their throat? Because that is going to make them more rebellious towards Christianity when they're forced to do something that they don't do. That's what they do in North Korea.
Guess what? I agree with everything that you just said. And this is exactly why I don't think we should be using your Christian beliefs to vote for pro-life legislation.
Yeah, but once you understand that, and I strongly encourage you to go. I know you think it's propaganda.
Can you respond to that last bit? You just gave me the best possible argument that anyone could ever give to why you're wrong in using your Christian beliefs to vote for pro-life legislation.
Go ahead and repeat yourself.
Yeah, you just said that, well, we don't live in a 100% Christian country, so you don't think that you should be stuffing your Christian moral values down the throats of other individuals, such as Muslims or atheists, right?
Correct. Yeah, but I'm coming on here.
Is this exactly why you shouldn't support pro-life legislation rooted within your Christian beliefs? Do you not see the in there? Do you not see how that statement perfectly applies to the most compelling reason ever for why you should not support pro-life legislation?
So
for why you shouldn't support banning abortion?
Hold on. If we're going to go based off that, in the 10 Commandments, it says that, thou shalt not murder. So that's in the Bible. We don't want to shove that down people's throat. Let's just go make that legal, right? No, but there's certain.
So now you're just debating yourself. Now you're saying, well, on one hand, we really shouldn't be taking my Christian values and self-imposing them onto everyone because that would make our country like North Korea. But on the other hand, I am going to take my Christian values and self-impose them on everyone else. I want to be like North Korea. You're debating yourself. You're not even debating me. You're literally debating yourself. Like the last statement you said disagreed with this statement that you are saying. You are debating yourself. You can't make this shit up.
No, okay. I'm going based on what you said. So what you said is lying. You think lying to your parents about Santa Claus or lying to your kid about Santa Claus would be the same sin as killing someone?
No, you think you think that.
No, I earlier I said I'm not perfect in my religion, and I don't have that mindset yet.
Okay,
I'm not perfect in my religion.
That you think that. So you're telling us that you don't think that, but you recognize in not thinking that you're wrong. So why are you using like self-admitted wrong beliefs to vote for legislation to infringe on what other people can or can't do with their bodies? That's what you're doing. You're using self-admitted incorrect beliefs to vote for what other people can or can't do with their bodies. Why?
So you think you would? I believe that murder is. So I'm confused on that last statement. Man.
I think that you're confused about nearly everything that you're saying. Listen, man, I'm going to move on to the next guest. I think that you came up here trying to be respectful, but you are confused about nearly everything that you're saying. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next guest. Everyone in the chat has been spamming for me to skip you for like the last 30 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and do that at this point. Oh boy. See, the Christian view gets incredibly confusing when you try to apply it to a legislative body. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Okay, you also are 12. Unfortunately, I got to go to move on to the next guest. Guys, if you find yourself in that queue, make sure that it means that you are an American adult that supports Trump as president. Make sure that it means that you're an American adult that supports Trump as president. KS, thank you so much for the motorcycle. There's a lot of people that I have to thank for their love over on Venmo and PayPal. So we are going to go to get that next Trump supporter loaded up into the live right now. If you are an American adult that supports Trump, go ahead and hop in that queue for me. And if you want to come up onto the live, go ahead and put a Trump with your age down below in that chat. What's up, Chase? Do you support Trump?
Uh, hey, did you say you had to be an American citizen? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Are you not?
I'm in the UK, bro.
No worries at all. Have a good rest of your day. Moving on to Kaylee, guys. Just make sure that we're following those rules. What's up, Kaylee? You MAGA?
Why are you always harassing Kaylee?
Okay, well, she screamed. Sorry, it was just a reaction. Gut reaction to kick her. We're going to move on to the next guest. We got the Real Ratty 1 loading up into the box. What's up, the Real Ratty? You MAGA?
Hey, what's good, man? No, I'm not MAGA, but I do support Trump.
Okay, one and the same. Don't say it every single time because a lot of people aren't driving. But yeah, you can't be driving on TikTok Live. Violates their TOS. As well as it's just not safe. What's up? Do you support Trump?
I do.
You have the most muffled mic ever. What is going on?
I do support Trump.
Can you please disconnect any like AirPods, headphones, headsets, earbuds, anything that you're talking to me through?
Yeah, hold up.
All right, while you're doing that, I'm going to go thank a handful of people. This came in like literally 30 minutes ago. It's been a while. Thirds, thank you so much for the $20 super chat on YouTube as well. As I read your message there. You're going to be all right. You're going to be all right, Thirds. I appreciate you for the 20. Show some love to Thirds down below. As well as Colin, thank you so much for the $20 super chat as well. Show some love to Collins down below. Colin says, thank you for what you do, Dean. I've been getting a bit depressed about what the fuck is going on in America lately. Trump needs to be impeached. Came here to disprove a lot of the MAGA BS. Much love. Well, Colin, I really appreciate you for the $20, and I agree with everything that you just said. And I hope that, the streams maybe give you a little bit of hope. That'd be awesome. As well as this came in a while ago at this point, but holy fuck. I have to thank you. This is insane. Dude, let me find it real quick. There it is. Gabriel, thank you so much for the $360 donation over on Venmo. Bro, that is like so much money. I do not deserve that much money. Okay, Gabriel? Not at all. Thank you so much for your kindness. Seriously. If everyone could please show some love to Mr. Gabriel for the $360 donation down below in the chat. It'd mean the absolute world to me. Now, let's go ahead and read Gabriel's donation message. So he says, challenge, name 3 positive things about Trump. Example 1, he's transparent. Example 2, he's a workaholic. And example 3, he's pro-market and pro-corporation. Warning, this is a very difficult exercise. And then he goes on to say that in good faith, none of these things were positive. Well, or true, sorry. Gabriel, I really appreciate you so much for the $360. And I really hope that were positive or true was the end of his message. And I really hope that you're enjoying the stream, and I appreciate you for the love. As well as Caleb, thank you so much for the $30 over on Venmo as well. Show some love to Caleb down below. And then Emily, thank you for the $10 for the links to gov sites about Trump's gold card. I will check them out. Thank you. Then Jace, Zoe, and Pod, I appreciate y'all for the 5. Then Laura with a 5 and Jace with a 1. Thank you so much. Go ahead and take it away, man. Tell us why you support Trump.
I support Trump. I think he's doing a very good job of getting a lot of illegal immigrants out of our country.
How do you? 15. Okay. We're going to move on to the next guest. Yeah, that was just like, an underage response. So we're going to move on to the next guest, guys. Hop in that queue if you support Trump. We're going to get you pulled up here. We're only looking to talk to American adults that are MAGA. We're going to move on to the next guest. Go ahead and put a Trump with your age down below in that comment section if you want to come up and join. That guy was underage. What's up? Are you MAGA?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Can you please get a lot closer to your microphone, man? It sounds like you're across the room. And while you're doing that, Stacy, thank you for the $10 on PayPal saying go Dean. Thank you, Stacy. As well as Brittany, thank you so much for the $25 on PayPal for quote unquote, thank you for fighting for women to have a choice. As somebody who's had to terminate to save my own life, fighting for this means the world. Thank you for being amazing. Brittany, it is common sense, and I wish that more people had it. Thank you for the $25 donation. I'm sorry you had to go through that experience, and I'm grateful that you're here with us today. As well as Iona, thank you so much for the $13 on PayPal saying, quote unquote, the egg enters the fetus. Yeah, he said that, but honestly, I just kind of ignored it, dude. As well as Tamara, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal as well. Thank you guys so much. If you're watching and you want to support me, you want to support what we do here, you could find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio or in the pin message over on that YouTube stream. I get 100% of those proceeds. They go straight to me, and you get a notification at the top of this phone where I can read off your name and any and all attached messages. Now, G, are you a little bit closer to your phone? Oh, even more muffled, man. Maybe you have like Bluetooth connected?
I don't have any Bluetooth. Might be my speaker.
Boom!
Honestly.
Boom! 10 out of 10. Perfect. Why do you support Trump?
So I voted for Trump just because I was a little scared before going into this year, into the new presidential year for Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. I just felt a little bit more aligned with Trump as far as everybody wants to have a United States that's thriving and good working class, good supportive, system, is not to downplay it in the best way that I can. Everyone wants an America that's succeeding.
So right now you're talking to me like this. I want you to talk to me like this. About a foot away.
Can you hear me better? Sorry.
Just about a foot away. Go ahead. So why do you support Trump as president?
I feel he was the strongest candidate to give me an America that's succeeding, something that, for everybody. I'm 28 years old. I'm in that Gen Z millennial area where I'm trying to get, afford a house, get a good, living wage and try to get the best that I can for my life, especially yeah.
What is one thing that Donald Trump has done in the last 8 months to help you thrive?
That is exactly why I came on here. Because this is in retrospect. Now I'm thinking it's kind of like a show hoax in a sense where I'm still trying to stay loyal to the party and the reason why I voted for him. But in the sense I'm thinking everything's more of a political play. So at this point,
you don't support him anymore?
I do support him. I'm trying to. I'm really, and because I can't support the other side. I can't support the Democratic side just because I feel that it's the same thing on the other side where it's more of a.
Okay, so it's just like clearly, why do you still support him today?
I still support Trump mainly because he has shown that he's trying to make the labor's market stronger, although it's collapsing right now. And he has shown that he's trying to get the working class to have a better, income to expense ratio.
Question. Has he shown that or has he said that?
He said more than he's shown, but...
In what way has he possibly shown that he's pro the average American? Name one thing he's ever done, that has benefited the average American. More so than the top 1%. Also, we got
there
we go.
This is going to be a little controversial, but I would say tariffs have kind of supported our economy in the most part of it, although we are kind of paying for them. I haven't felt the hit myself personally. Economically, it could be different.
So how are the tariffs helping the average American?
Okay, so my point of view on the tariffs is that it's a way for the government to collect money so that they could attack the deficit and they could play with more so they can get us more. But again, that's all in the will of whoever's in power.
Okay, great. Well, I mean, if you're just going to say that the tariffs are positive because they help us bring down the debt, well, guess what? Donald Trump has exploded the debt. He's already spent the money raised by the tariffs times 10 on shitty policy like the Big Beautiful Bill, which was the most expensive bill in American history. He's already spent more than the Biden-Harris administration did in 4 years and 8 months, and in his first administration, he spent twice of what the Biden-Harris administration did. So the point's kind of dead in the water.
Okay, I agree with what you're saying. That's why I said in the beginning that I'm kind of in a shifty kind of stance with where my support is because I still believe in him, but I also understand
why do you still believe in him?
Well, I also understand that things take time. It's not going to be it's not going to be an 8-month policy
What is he doing that's going to take time to benefit you?
The biggest things I would say is to see what happens with the tariff money. Another thing.
Well, I mean, you understand that that's just a tax on the American people, right? And it's a regressive tax that you pay more of the less money you make, since the less money you make, you disproportionately spend more of your overall income on consumption, right? So are you ultimately saying that you think that Donald Trump is good for the working class because he's imposed a tax that hurts you more the less money you make?
No, well, exactly what I was trying to get to is that if you remember when he was running for presidency, he was mentioning that there's going to be a 25% income or sales tax in general, right? So I'm curious you think he's angling to have a 25% overall sales tax and then cut, like he said multiple times that he wanted to cut this overall income taxes.
So you're saying that you still support him because you think that he'll inevitably cut the overall income tax. Guess what? He already passed his tax policy. That movie's over. Yeah, the big beautiful bill was the big tax bill. And according to the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities, if you make at or under $51,000 per year, you're going to have less purchasing power per year because of it, meaning it's a tax bill that is just taking money from the poor and giving to the rich. And it's not going to get any better than that. That's his tax bill.
No, I understand that. That's what I said when I started the live. It's like I'm trying to think of where I want to be politically right now.
I don't get. You haven't told us any reason why you still support him today. Yet you do. Do you have any reason? Because I feel like your first point was to bring up that you think he's maybe done some things for the working class. You said tariffs. I went through how that's wrong. And then the most recent point was because he said he wanted to reduce income tax, but that ship has sailed. He's already passed his tax bill, and we have like reports from these think tanks telling us it actually hurts you. So why do you still support him?
I think maybe I just came on thinking that I was going to have more of a conversation, but I realized it's more of a debate, and that's the reason why you're doing these things. So in my standpoint, I'm more in the sense where, like, where does it stop as far as politically is? Where do I stop supporting him? And give me a reason why I should stop supporting him.
Well, because you don't have any reason to. And in fact, the reasons that you said you might have to support him were inevitably proven by me to be harmful to you and harmful to the country. That should be enough reason, right? But I mean, if you want more reason than that, 2 days ago, he said he wants state-controlled media. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, he said that it's now illegal to criticize him in the media. That's terrible. That should be more than enough reason.
Yeah, and that's a freedom of speech. He can't attack that. But
so there you go. Why is that not enough to stop supporting him?
Why should I support the Democratic Party?
So now you're asking why you should support the Democratic Party. Well, I mean, so the purpose of the live is just to talk about why you support the current administration. My focus is on the government right now.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, actually.
So do you have any other reasons?
I really appreciate you, man. I look up to you and I follow you, and you're a pretty cool guy. So I appreciate how respectful you've countered me, and I know some people get upset with the way that you handle things, but I really appreciate the time that you gave me today, and I thank all the viewers for even having me up here.
Well, thank you for coming up here, man. I think that you are at a point where you know, and I mean this with due respect, you are just a bit confused. You don't really know like where your loyalties lie or like what's important or what the Trump administration is doing to the country. What I recommend for you is just like watch the live, read the news, pay attention. And I think at the end of the day, you'll be on the left, hopefully, right? If you're good faith and you're just talking about, looking at the facts, I think that's where you will inevitably land. But we're going to move on to the next guest. Actually, before we do, I wanted to go and read off another donation here from Jace. Jace with his $60 over on Venmo says, here's $60 more. I just really want to respectfully debate you. I'm calm and collected. I am MAGA. Okay, point number one. I wouldn't recommend like donating to me to try to get up on the live. I wouldn't recommend it. But point number two, chat. Should we bring Jace up for a debate? Should we bring him up? Yeah, we should. Okay. But I wouldn't recommend donating to me to try to get up on the live. But I'll make an exception for you, Jace. I'm looking for a Jace in my queue right now. While I'm looking for Jace, everyone just give us a minute because Jace really wants to come up. Yeah, no, he's been here all day long. Looking for him in the queue. I'm not seeing anyone in the queue named Jace. Jace, if you want to comment in the chat, if you want to tell me like what your profile picture looks like or what your screen name is, that could be beneficial because you gave me your username, but the username is hidden. What shows is like the screen name. Like my username is @itsdean, but what shows in the top left-hand corner is Dean Withers because that's the screen name. That's the same thing that shows for the guests. Okay, I'm not Jace. If you want to tell me what your screen name is or what your profile picture looks like in a response to your donation, I'll try to get you up here. But right now, I'm not seeing you in the queue, dude. If you let me know, you could be next up. But for the meantime, we're gonna go to get that next guest loaded up here right now. And everyone's saying that he commented, dude. There's like a billion people that said it's me. I'm not gonna be able to find him. I'm not gonna be able to find him in the chat. Jace, comment back on that Venmo donation. Don't send anything new. Just comment with what your screen name is and what your profile picture looks like. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, are you MAGA?
Yeah, hey, I'm Dean. First of all, I got to say, I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate, as a conservative, I appreciate how you debated Charlie Kirk. So I'm here kind of in honor of him, supporting the other side, dialogue and all that. But yeah, I would say the biggest thing for me personally, just having, a more secure border, and really just tightening the loose immigration system, I would say.
Okay, securing the southern border. So what's some good policy that Trump has passed in the last 8 months to really secure that southern border?
Well, so I would say one big thing that I've seen is that Mexico actually was putting troops on their southern border. And, I don't know the exact
They did that under the Biden-Harris administration. They did that under the Biden-Harris administration, too. That's not new.
Well, 8 million people still crossed over, though, Dean.
Right. But that doesn't change the fact that they did that under the Biden-Harris administration, meaning that that's not new. So once again, I'm asking you the question, what is something that he's done through policy in the last, 8 months to really close down on that southern border? If you don't know, that's okay. I'm actually expecting you to not know here, and I could tell you why if you admit that you don't know.
I'm going to be honest, Dean. I thought it was because of the military. I actually did not know that the Mexico government was putting military on the southern border. How would you explain that then?
Of course. So now that we've come to the mutual agreement and understanding that we actually cannot quantify any specific good policy that Donald Trump has implemented to reduce immigration over the southern border, but yet it has dropped so significantly, I think we could explain this not through policy, but through, well, in my mind, fascism. I don't think that we're seeing a reduction in entry because, as I already said, policy, but rather because now Donald Trump is promoting the image that if you come into this country as an immigrant, you are going to have a worse quality of life because of it. And I think that he's promoting this image by violating both the constitutional and human rights of the undocumented immigrants that are already in this country, right? Like for instance, he illegally deported Abrigo Garcia to Sica in El Salvador, where he was beaten and tortured and starved for 3 weeks. So now undocumented immigrants see that, they're like, oh, we don't want to go to America anymore because we're going to have a worse quality of life. Same thing with Mahmoud Khalil, who was a legal immigrant that was held in a detention center for 3 months, or the 510 reported human rights abuses in the last 8 months, or the Venezuelan immigrants that were illegally deported without due process, and then the Trump administration and Trump ignored the withholding order from a judge forbidding their removal. The black bag college students that were also taken to, with detention and withholding facilities 1,000 miles away against the order of a judge. It's brutal, it's illegal, and it's immoral, and that is what is reducing the entry. And further evidence to suggest that I am true is not only the fact that you can't qualify that I'm wrong by naming the specific policy that he's implemented to get it done, but it's also the fact that we also see a reduction in tourism for business and leisure, legal immigration, so on and so forth. You shouldn't support this for a handful of reasons. First reason why you shouldn't support it is because it's immoral. I don't feel like you need to specify the reasons why. And the second reason why you shouldn't support this is because it's short term. The moment when we have a president that's not fascist, guess what? That incentive structure is reversed.
Okay, well then genuinely, what's your suggestion though, Dean? Because can we at least not come to an agreement that illegal immigration is such as 8 million people under Biden is wrong now? No one's saying we don't need immigrants, especially illegal immigrants, construction, farming. I do get that. But isn't there a better way than just allowing, and I think even 1 million of them were no-shows or gotaways where we don't even know what they are. They don't check in with the Border Patrol. So that 1 million gotaway number.
You're asking for my suggestion of what we should do with immigration, right?
Yes, because I'm genuinely curious, because you've stumped me, I'll be honest.
And I will tell you because I have a good idea of what we should do. Let's start off with undocumented immigration. Is it something that I support? No. Why? Because I think that it puts immigrants in harm's way, right? What we should do is we should prevent undocumented entry by addressing its root cause, which nobody in the American government has done for a long time. The root cause of undocumented entry into America is the fact that the legal means of entry into this country are unattainable, okay? It can take you 12 years to legally immigrate into America if you're in Mexico with no family in the USA. That is too long. That system is unattainable and also unaffordable for millions and millions and millions of people. But yet they want a better life, and if they can't do it the legal way, then they will do it illegally. So what we do is we make that system as attainable for as many people as possible legally, okay? And that will remove the incentive for undocumented entry and eradicate it in the process. That is what we do. And that is not what Trump is doing. In fact, you would not be able to name a single time Donald Trump has spoken at a podium since 2015 suggesting that we should even focus on making the legal means of entry into this country more attainable, faster, and more affordable. He has spent the last 10 years saying that undocumented immigrants are felons, criminals, gang members, P3ADOs. He has spent the last 10 years implementing policy that didn't change anything or didn't fucking matter until the pandemic. Border crossings increased month by month under his first administration. Now under his second administration, instead of opting to take a more responsible route by addressing the real issue of the unattainable legal means of entry into the country, he's instead put a very harmful band-aid on the issue by being a fascist and scaring that undocumented entry away.
Fair enough. I genuinely have no counter.
Is there any other reasons why you support Trump?
To be honest, I actually don't support Trump that much. I just kind of wanted to see what you felt about that one point where I do support him.
Any others?
I mean, I would say the tariffs, I feel like, should have long-term benefits. And at least from what I understand, he talks about manufacturing coming back to the country, and we'll see the benefits. Then I'm sure you can counter as to why that's not the case. But from what he says, and I choose to at least believe him, he says that once the factories are built, the car plants are here and everything like that with the tariffs. And, you know, Apple, I know, is building factories.
I have a question.
Hyundai. Yes.
Can we agree that building factories would require investment?
Correct. And he has secured trillions in investment. Now, I know it's not locked in, but he has secured trillions in investment from foreign countries and, you know, manufacturing, Apple, other stuff.
So when we look at this graph, which is a graph following the real fixed private investment into American industries, we see that it boomed under the Biden-Harris administration. But in Q4 of 2024, Q1 of 2025, and Q2 of 2025, we see that it's gone stagnant and went down. So that is my rebuttal to your claim that new manufacturing facilities are going to be built in this country. Building manufacturing facilities requires money and investment. Investment has gone stagnant and down.
Okay. You see that?
And the source on this would be the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. I'm not just going to show you an X and Y axis with no information. You could find that yourself by going on Google, typing in FRED, real fixed private investment into American manufacturing.
Sweet.
Now, while you're thinking of that response, there's actually a handful of people I'd like to thank you real quick. First and foremost, Emma, thank you so much for the 169 DKK. I think that's around $20 USD. Emma says, thank you so much for the donation, by the way. Emma says, such a dark reality Trump has created. You know, the whole world thinks that Trump supporters are not smart. Seriously, Dean, thank you for actively and masterfully reversing Trump's damage one person at a time. You are razor sharp and a great teacher for the world. Much love from Denmark. Well, much love to you, Emma, and much love to Denmark. I'd love to go there one day. As well as B, thank you so much for the Vikings hammer over on TikTok. Thank you so much for the love. I'd also like to thank Grandma Diane with a $50 super chat on YouTube. Dude, thank you so much, Grandma Diane. Let's get 500 Grandma Gma Diane W's down below in the chat. That is so much money. Thank you so much for your support. It means the absolute world to me. As well as Eric, thank you for the $40 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love. They say Ricky97 on TikTok. Been asking this for almost an hour. I support Trump. And I'd like to come up a debate. Okay, Ricky97. I'll bring you up. And then Ricky97 actually sent another $15 saying, I sent you $40. And I just saw that again. Sorry, I was debating this last guess, so I didn't read it off. But Ricky, I'll bring you up. I'd love to have a discussion. As well as you asked a question in your message, I'll actually let you ask that on live. As well as Liam, thank you so much for the $35 as well over on PayPal. Show some love to Liam down below. Liam with a $35 says, I know you from politics, but I'm a big fan and I'm interested in other stuff you like, sports or music. Care for your lots and stay safe. I appreciate that, Liam. Yeah, I actually play music. I play guitar, I play piano, and as far as sports go, I'm not too interested, but college football did have my attention for a while. Now it looks like this guest is actually leaving. I'm going to try to get Ricky47 up here. Ricky47, I mean, they sent the donation, they asked a question in the donation. Ricky, I'm going to get you up here. Let's see where the hell Ricky's at. Or is this going to be another one of those scenarios where they just have a significantly different screen name than they do a username, so I can't even find them in the queue? Yeah, it looks like I can't even find them in the queue. Okay. All right. Point number 1. You shouldn't send me money if you want to come up onto the stream. Point number 2. If you do, like Ricky or that other guy, Jace, I think his name was, make sure that you are also including your screen name and like maybe a description of your profile picture. Because if you don't include that, then I will never be able to find you in a billion years. And Ricky, if you're still in here, feel free to send that as a message over on your donation. Let's get that next guest loaded up in here right now. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Hello, Dean. I'm 50.
Out. Goodbye. Moving on to the next guest, guys. In the meantime, make sure that we're double tapping away on that phone screen. Okay, y'all are saying that he commented. Let's see if I can find him real quick. Let's see if I could find him super duper quickly. Where's Ricky47? Where's Ricky47, you guys? Y'all, all of y'all are saying that he commented. I'm gonna try to find him. Quite frankly, oh. No, that's not him. It's not him. Ricky47 is nowhere to be seen. Everyone in the chat is like saying that he's here. He commented. Yeah, Ricky47 is not here. Okay. All right, moving on to the next guest. Where's Ricky? Where's Ricky97? If you guys find Ricky97, let me know. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Oh, what's up? Yeah, I do.
How old are you?
I just turned 18 not too long ago. Born.
What year were you born in?
07, August 18th.
What are your pronouns?
She, her.
Chad, do we trust it? I'll leave it up to the chat.
Okay.
Yes. No. Okay. Do you genuinely promise that you're 18 and you're not underage?
No, I'm not. I'm not underage. Wait, why are people saying little bro? I'm sorry. Do I sound like a guy? I don't know if my voice sounds scratchy today.
Go ahead and take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
I'm sorry. You seem skeptical.
I am.
I don't. I'm sorry. Because just during his first term, he's done some things for like the economy and foreign policy. Just like how he like signed the tax cuts and
making the personal decision to not trust you. I'm making the personal decision to not trust you. If I'm wrong, I want to extend to you my apologies. Okay? If I'm wrong, I want to extend to you my apologies, but I'm making the personal decision to not trust you. So we're going to go to get that next guest loaded up in here. Right now, go to hop in that queue. If you are an American adult that supports Trump as president, we'll get you loaded in. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next guest right now. In the meantime, Sway, thank you so much for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Dude.
Hi. I just wanted to say hi. Hope you have a good day.
You don't want to debate?
No, I just wanted to say hi. Hi.
Okay. Hi. Have a good one. Sway, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. Sway says, how many monitors do you have to get back from PayPal, Venmo, TikTok, and YouTube? Dude, okay. Good question, Sway. I have one monitor. I have one monitor that I am maxing out all of my brain power to effectively move through. Good question. I appreciate you so much for the $50 as well. Echo. Bad. Moving on to the next guest, guys. Go ahead and hop in that queue. If you support Trump, we're going to get you loaded in. Show some love to Sway down below for the $50. As well as let's get 200 Leah W's. Leah with a $20 super chat says, been watching your lives and it's become a part of my daily routine. Thank you for spreading valuable information. You're the best. I love you. Love you too, Leah. Thank you so much for your kindness. What's up? Are you MAGA?
Yeah, I support Trump.
British?
No.
What time is it?
Huh?
What time is it?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Banned! Moving on to the next guest. If you're in that queue, make sure that it means you are an American adult, quite frankly, that supports Trump as president, quite frankly. Follow the rules or get banned. And we're going to move on to the next guest. If you're watching and you want to join, go and let me know down below by dropping a Trump with your age. We're going to get you loaded up and connected. We got that next guest, JJ, loading in. JJ, for the love of God, please be an American adult that supports Trump. What's up? Do you support Trump? Nope. By the way, they changed their name to Ricky to impersonate that other Ricky. And you guys are saying that Ricky is here. I saw somebody in the chat and their screen name was Ricky97, but then I clicked on their account and their username was different. And I brought them up and they were a kid. So, I mean, I'm going to continue to look for Ricky. Ricky, you still have not sent me a follow-up over on PayPal, which makes me think he's not in here anymore and the people that we may see are impersonators. I'll continue to look, though. What's up, Alex? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, hello. Yes, I support Trump.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
23. Phenomenal. 1 second. Carter, thank you so much for the $25 donation over on Venmo, saying, can you untime me out from a YouTube chat? My username is Numa. I was saying hi to G in chat earlier and autocorrect fucked me over. Love what you're doing, man. You're an inspiration to many out there. What did it autocorrect do out of curiosity? And well, if it's bad, maybe you shouldn't say it. But yeah, mods, if you know who Numa is, feel free to untime them out. Take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
All right, so I support Trump pretty much for the things that he has done on the first and second term of his presidency, comparing to Biden's term. I think he's done some great deals. I think he's done some great peace treaties. Even though I do not completely support his Ukrainian stand on this issue, but I support the peace deals that he made with Armenia and Azerbaijan, what he did in Cambodia, stopping the war. I support the big, beautiful bill, the trade deals and the tariffs. So yeah, pretty much, I think he's good for the economy, and he actually stopped 40% of the crossings of illegal immigrants. Even though
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Just because you had what sounds like a French accent, I just want to ask you, what time is it?
Oh, it's 4:20 here in Seattle. 4:20 p.m.
Yeah, checks out. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think he actually made some risky moves. Yeah, but I think those moves were actually necessary for the country, and they're actually doing pretty well. So, yeah, pretty much the big, beautiful bill.
Okay, yeah, why do you support the big, beautiful bill?
I support the big, beautiful bill because even though it adds $3 trillion to the national debt,
$4.5 trillion according to the CBO.
Yeah, but let's go back to Biden's term where he adds $4.7 trillion to the debt too. So what you think about that?
Yeah, what I think about that is you're just making my point for me. You're telling me that Donald Trump has added almost as much debt to the national debt in 8 months as the Biden-Harris administration did in 4 years.
Yeah, but why does he add 4.7? All right, so he's doing some.
Why are you more critical of those that spent less? Donald Trump spent $8.6 trillion in his first 4 years. Then Biden and Harris spent 4.6, and then so far in 8 months, Donald Trump has already spent $5 trillion. And instead of asking like, oh, why did Donald Trump spend $5 trillion, or oh, why did he spend $8.6 trillion in his first 4 years? You instead only ask, well, why did the lowest spenders in the last 10 years of the American government spend the amount of a bunch of money they did? I mean, you were literally like taking the lesser of two evils and asking why are they the lesser of two evils? We should not support them because they're the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, I understand your point, but I support Trump's adding that money to the debt. Why? Because if you see the way he spent it.
Oh yeah, the way he spent that $4.5 trillion was on defunding Medicaid to take healthcare away from 10 million low-income Americans, defunding food stamps to take food stamps away from 3 million low-income Americans.
I think that's great.
Okay, why do you think it's great to take healthcare away from 10 million low-income Americans when nearly 60,000 Americans die per year via lack of access to healthcare?
I think it's great because even though our healthcare is pretty much trash already,
actually Medicaid's not bad.
It actually needs to be. It actually needs to be worked on. I think it's great because the healthcare was being used by non-citizens, and I think it's great because pretty much a lot of things. Permanent tax cuts. He invested actually in energy.
Wait! Don't get off topic. I'm specifically asking you why you think that it's great to take healthcare away from 10 million low-income Americans. You gave us 2 reasons. The first reason that you gave us was because apparently it wasn't that good, and then the second reason you gave us is because it was being used by non-citizens. So in response to your first point that it wasn't that good, even if it wasn't that good, having not good healthcare is better than no healthcare at all. But actually, Medicaid is pretty fucking decent. I'm gonna be honest. The wait times are low because you could go to any hospital, and it costs the government twice 2 times less than what the average cost would be for the same service on private health insurance. So it actually is pretty good. And then point number 2, you said that it's being used by non-citizens. That is actually not true at all. Undocumented immigrants cannot receive any federal benefits such as Medicaid. That is expressly illegal.
Yeah. So whenever Biden's terms, I went to the doctor's appointment. It cost $200 actually to get an insurance, a medical insurance. It's actually pretty damn expensive. So
are you on Medicaid?
For me, huh?
Are you on Medicaid?
No, I'm not. I'm not currently. I'm pretty much a freelance.
Are you on your own private health insurance?
No, I'm actually not. Too expensive. I'm a freelance pretty much. I do freelance for my job. It's so you pretty much getting a medical.
So your employer is giving you like private medical benefits. So you're saying that the private health insurance that you have is bad. Therefore, we should cancel the public health insurance for 10 million people that have less than you.
No, I don't have an insurance. I don't have an insurance. It's too expensive though.
Okay. Wait. Are you saying that because you are uninsured, it'll be a good thing to make more people uninsured?
I don't think that.
So then why do you say it was a great thing to take Medicaid away from 10 million low-income Americans?
Because he's reworking it right now.
No, he's not reworking anything.
He invested in other things.
Wait. How is he reworking Medicaid?
You comparing 2 terms. You comparing how he's investing the money from the beautiful bill. I don't think Biden's invested.
We're not talking about Biden. Answer my question. I asked you why you support him taking healthcare away from 10 million low-income Americans, and then you said in response because he's reworking it. How is he reworking Medicaid an irrelevant sense to justify taking it away from 10 million people?
Yeah. So, all right. So he's reworking it in the way. First of all, he's got to get rid of it. Because a lot of people that were not from the country were actually using it.
I already clarified that that's not true. That's not a fact. Under the personal responsibility and work.
Well, there's many gaps. There's many gaps.
No, there's not.
There's many gaps in the Medicare.
No,
in the previous Medicare.
Under the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Act of 1996, it is expressly illegal to give federal public benefits to undocumented immigrants. It is. The only people that qualify for Medicaid are American citizens and some residents. That is a fact. Undocumented immigrants cannot receive benefits. The 10 million people that are losing Medicaid are all citizens, as Medicaid cannot be legally offered to undocumented immigrants under the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Act of 1996.
Yeah, sure, man. So
then why do you support him taking it away from 10 million low-income Americans?
I support it because it was not working either way.
It wasn't working? When you say that Medicaid was not working,
it's not working.
Mean? How so? How so? Educate me and everyone else watching. How was Medicaid not working for the 10 million American citizens that lost it?
All right. So I think the fact it needs to rework.
No, nope, really not answering my question.
To get an insurance as a freelance to get an insurance. It's almost impossible.
But you as an individual,
you need to work. You need to work like
you already told me. You already told me
a free Medicare.
You told me that.
You still get it.
Why are you talking about the private health insurance that you get from your employer when you're trying or attempting to describe to me why the public health insurance for low-income Americans of Medicaid was not working? You bringing up your own private health insurance that you get through your employer, as you talked about, or I don't know, you said that you're uninsured, bears no relevance towards Medicaid. Why was Medicaid not working for the 10 million Americans that Trump took it away from?
All right, now you tell me, why do you think the Be Beautiful bill is bad for the economy?
Stop it. Pivot. Stop it. Stop pivoting. Answer my question.
All right. So I just think I voted for Trump because I think the money wasn't like going to the right ways, you know?
Stop
and
it. Stop it.
Medicare wasn't something that I supported.
Why?
I think Medicare was going
Medicaid,
to the bankruptcy, and it was going really, really bad. It was really, the system of Medicare was really sketch. It was being used by people, you know. And I'm an immigrant myself. I mean, not an immigrant. I was born in the U.S., but my parents came here legally. They made all the process legally. So I was born here in the U.S.
Why is Medicaid bad?
I just think it's bad.
Why?
You know, I just think it wasn't too much money going to Medicare, and it wasn't used in the right way.
How was it not used in the right way? What are the inefficiencies in Medicaid that justify taking it away from 10 million low-income Americans? Be specific.
All right. I don't think Medicare was right.
You're repeating yourself.
I don't think it's like bad, but it needs to be reworked.
Why?
That's for
Why?
sure.
What's wrong with it? What's wrong with Medicaid?
I just think it was like a lot of money going to it, and it was not working out.
How is it not working? You're saying it's not working because it's not working because it's not working because it's not working.
Because
that's not an argument.
Hey man, people run out of ambulances because they don't want to go to the hospital because just the ambulance ride to the hospital costs around $5,000. How does that Medicare working? That's my question. Like, how is it working? There's videos of people running out of the ambulances because they don't want to go to the hospital because it's unpayable. Everything you do in the hospital, it costs you like $20,000. How is Medicare working? You know, how can you explain to me how is Medicare working if people are paying over $20,000 for what? A fracture? You know, that's why I voted for Trump, because I don't think Medicare is bad, but it's definitely not working out somehow.
Medicaid covers emergency ambulance services.
No, they don't. I mean, they cover some part.
What the fuck?
But not everything.
HHS.gov.
Not everything, though.
HHS.gov. Go on Google, type in HHS.gov. Does Medicaid cover ambulance services?
Not every American citizen has insurance also.
What does that have to do with why you think Medicaid is bad?
Because I think it's not working out.
Also, generally on Medicaid, you have no out-of-pocket expenses for emergency transportation, as state licensed ambulance providers accepts the Medicaid-approved payment in full.
Yeah, that's the thing. Maybe it covers the ambulance, but whenever you get to what I'm saying is the prices, even though we got Medicare, they're not working out because we got like $20,000 bill for hospital, wherever that happens.
The bill is lower.
You go to other countries.
You're also wrong. You're also wrong. Did you know that medical bills are lower if you're on Medicaid? The government pays less money through Medicaid than any private insurer pays ever. In fact, it's 2 times less on average. So you're saying that Medicaid is bad because it is more efficient and results in lower bills covered by the insurer than private health insurance?
Sorry, what was the question again?
You're saying that Medicaid is bad because it's more efficient than private health insurance.
Yeah, kind of. No, I don't think it's...
Get the fuck out of here. No argument. Only emotion. No argument at all. Only emotion. 0 reason. Only emotion. 0 logic. Just emotion. Moving on to the next guess. It's bad because it's better. It's bad because it's better. Crazy. What's up, man? You support Trump?
Yeah, hello?
What's up, man? You MAGA?
Yeah, I'd say so. I can't believe I actually got accepted, bro. I've been like waiting for her.
What time is it?
It's just crazy. It is 7:32. I'm in Florida.
Okay, I heard like a British accent there to begin with. I'm sorry. Yeah, let me go and thank a handful of people. Yo, Darsol,
Yes.
thank you for the $10 over on Super Chat, saying, as someone who recently had a kidney stone, I only owe $3,000 for my ER visit rather than the $13,000 that it costs. It's not perfect, but without it, I wouldn't have any coverage. I mean, is that on Medicaid? If so, like, where's the $3,000 coming from? You should actually share that with me because I'm surprised it's that high. And I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. As well as Ario with the $10 on Super Chat saying unpopular opinion. I don't really like how you discriminate against someone's voices. Some people have throat disabilities or voice issues. Everyone has different voices, and you can't always tell. And that's going to be in reference to like the person that came up earlier that had a high pitched voice that I said was a minor. And although or might be a minor, probably minor. And I do agree with your point, but like you have to like acknowledge that minor safety is like really important. Okay. You know, like I cannot put like for instance, like a 14-year-old girl in her account of my live because of the nature of the internet and predators. So I have to be safe about that. I have to be safe about it. And that is just a necessary fact of being a responsible content creator who will blast like people to crowds of like hundreds of thousands. So we got to keep that in mind, but I understand where you're coming from. As well as I'd like to quickly thank Jennifer. Thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo, saying thank you for spreading truth and facts and having evidence to back up to the MAGA cult. Keep it up, Dean. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you. As well as thank you so much for the $30 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love. I really appreciate that, A. Thank you so much. Show some love to A down below. In fact, I think their name is Amrafiel, Amrafel. Thank you so much for the $30. As well as Zoe, I really appreciate you for the 2. Bluegrass, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal. Thank you so much. Then Eric, thank you so much for the $25 over on PayPal. I'm pretty sure that's Ricky. Ricky says, you asked me to come up at not a good time. I wasn't expecting to be brought up. I'm not well educated, hence why I listen to your lives. I'll come up if you want. Well, Ricky, yeah, man, if you want to come up, feel free, dude. I will need to know like the screen name and maybe a description of your profile picture. As well as Liam, once again, with another $25 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love. And you said that I shouldn't read that out loud. You got it, Liam. I'll read it to myself. But seriously, man, thank you for the love. Show some love to Liam down below, as well as Josh with his cent. Now, go ahead and take it away, man. Why do you support Trump as president?
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, real quick, I just want to name, I'm kind of honored to be on this little debate. I saw you did debate Charlie Kirk, and I like to listen to a lot of his, his debates that he has. So I just wanted to say that for one. And, it's interesting. I feel like you're really like well educated on what you speak on as well. Because like, I personally like debating for fun. And one thing I really like to debate is the pro-life stance versus the pro-abortion. And I wanted to actually know your take on that because
so ultimately, is your position that you support Trump because he's pro-life?
There's a few reasons. Listen, I'm still kind of figuring out more where I politically am, but I would say I lean more towards yes, like I support Trump, but I support MAGA because
knowing everything that you
that's
do
kind of just how I've been raised.
Knowing everything that you do about the last 8 months, if you were to go back in time to November, who would you vote for?
If I were to go back in time to November and vote for, I would say I would vote for Trump.
Okay.
I think also I recently lived. I mean, listen, I feel like more like on a political standpoint, I find that when I used to live in Massachusetts, right, and that's more up northeast, so that's a pretty blue Democratic state, and I always found that the people there, like now that I've been to Florida, I found that the people there were always so like very, I don't know, negative, very judgy. You constantly couldn't say things that would disagree with someone else's ideology, or you could get in trouble by the school. And I find here in Florida, which is more, a red state, that it's actually like a lot more warm. Like the kids at the school I'm going to, they're a lot more kinder.
So why exactly do you still support Trump as president?
I have to more talk about Trump. Okay, then yes, then I'd say the pro-life, the illegal immigration, the illegal immigration. Oh, and then also the whole trans debate with them being in like.
Can you just like
sports.
specify like one specific point why you support Trump as president? It's just one.
Okay, we can go into the abortion topic. I feel like I like to talk about that one a lot.
Okay, so overall,
I would say
overall you support Trump as president because you think that abortion should be legislated on at the state level. Why is that?
Primarily for 3 reasons. I wanted to pull up my contentions though for the 3 reasons.
So why do you think that abortion should be legislated on at the state level?
Well, I wanted to ask you one question.
Well, I mean, I first want you to be able to give your stance, right? You still haven't given an argument for why you support Trump. We just like finally isolated down to a topic that you're going to give an argument on.
Yeah, hold on, let me just pull up the 3 contentions. I want to actually debate you. I want to give it like a good debate here. I want to
for sure
waste time. So
a debate will start with an argument.
Yeah, wait, hold on, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. So the three contentions, though, the first one's off the top of my head was it's the ending of a distinct human life. I just need to find because it has evidence cited for it. I do like little debate cards, but the first one that I had is it ends a distinct human life, right?
Okay.
The second contention that I had was that there's all, what is it? It can harm a woman both physically and mentally. And the third one is there's alternatives like adoption, so it makes it unnecessary to actually go ahead and have an abortion where you could just put it up for the child up for adoption.
Okay, I could very easily respond to all three of those points. Your first point was that it was ending a human life. That's a scientific fact, but it's not a moral argument. Your second point is that abortions can induce some mental trauma in some scenarios. Okay, well, guess what? We see that birth is actually associated with higher rates of both mental and physical trauma on average compared to abortions. So does this mean that you think that we should ban birth? No. Okay, invalid position. Third point was what?
Alternatives like adoption make abortion unnecessary.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
wait.
So my response to your third point is that you're just descriptively incorrect. Adoption is not an alternative to abortion, as nothing can be, because it's not an alternative to pregnancy. It's an alternative to raising a child, but it's not
because
an alternative to pregnancy. And women don't just get abortions to circumvent and get around raising a child, but also to terminate pregnancy.
Yeah, but the whole pro-life stance, right, is to preserve life. So the whole point is that instead of ending life, to just put them up for adoption. A lot of women that I hear when I debate is that they'll say, "Oh, well, what about all the people
it's not an
who are
alternative.
not?" Wait, hold on. I didn't finish.
We're not responding to my point.
I didn't finish. Right?
Well, I'm not going to let you finish because you're not responding to my point. Your argument was an alternative to abortion is adoption. That's not true. There's no alternative to pregnancy outside of terminating pregnancy by lethal abortion prior to viability.
I'm confused though of how it's not an alternative. Like can I kind of explain what I mean by alternative?
Sure.
Like alternative is the pro-life stance is I think it's wrong to end a distinct human life, right? And adoption, I think a very big issue that a lot of women struggle is that financially they're not able to, raise a child. If whether or not they have, let's say, they have unsafe, devil's tango. I don't know if I can say the words here. They have unsafe devil's tango, right? And actually, I saw that the Guttmacher Institute, they did a study in 2024 where they found that over 79% of all 73 million abortions that happen annually are due to unsafe devil's tango. So all those people who are just, being irresponsible, right? They're going ahead and then getting an abortion. So I think instead of that, they should just put the child up for adoption. Because those usually the people who are doing that were below the age of like around 20. So I would assume they're not financially stable.
You introduced new information there by saying that women that are getting abortions are irresponsible. And I'll address that. But then the second
79% of them claim that they didn't use.
Then the second part of your statement was once again just a circle. You're saying instead of getting an abortion, they could put it up for adoption. I've already given you a very clear description on why that is not a true dichotomy or an alternative, as there is no alternative to a lethal abortion to terminate pregnancy before the point of viability.
There is no other option?
There's no other option to terminate pregnancy. There's none. Adoption is not an alternative to pregnancy.
Yeah, I'm not saying
adoption is alternative to raising a kid. That is the last time I'm going to repeat that, because it should be really simple to understand why what I'm saying is true and why what you're saying is wrong. An alternative would be another option. Okay? Adoption is not.
Are you saying
interchangeable
are you saying
pregnancy.
are you saying it's interchange? Like, are you saying because you're ending a baby's life with abortion, and for that it's not like interchangeable to putting a baby up for adoption?
This is the last time I'm going to describe it. An alternative would be another option. Before the point of viability, is there any way to opt out of pregnancy besides killing and aborting the fetus?
No, there's not. Okay, I understand. Sorry. No, there's not.
It is not an alternative.
Okay.
Right? Because
okay, but I see what you mean.
Can we agree that an alternative
but what I'm saying, no, but why I say...
Listen, can we agree that an alternative is defined as another option?
Yeah.
So you've affirmed that an alternative is defined as another option, and you've affirmed that there is no other option outside of abortion prior to viability inside of a pregnancy, meaning that you logically are forced into conceding the conclusion that adoption is actually not an alternative to pregnancy prior to viability.
I mean, I guess I would concede that point technically, but I'm saying it. What I mean though is like abortion is the ending of a life. As a pro-lifer, I see that ending life is is not right in any sense. So instead of ending life, you
So
could
why
just
is it
put the
wrong?
child up for
So
adoption.
why
But
is it
you're
wrong to
saying,
kill the
but you're
fetus?
saying though,
Why is it, why is it
okay, now
morally wrong to
actually,
kill
I
the
get what you mean
fetus?
though. But I get what you mean though. I get what you mean.
Why
Now
is
a
it
little bit.
morally wrong to kill the fetus?
Dude, so that's actually the question I wanted to ask you because when I do a lot of research, I feel like the biggest thing that can kind of disprove someone who's pro-life is that, like in reality, I'm not fully pro-life. I just like to debate it because I feel like there's more, logical standpoints. It's more concreted in evidence. But the one thing I wanted to actually hear from you is the whole ethical argument because that goes into like a philosophical aspect, and I really wanted to know, like,
Right. So my position is that it's not wrong to kill a fetus because I can't identify any reason why it would be.
yeah, and that's something I feel like it kind of can just disprove the pro-life because when I actually looked at it, if you look at the statistics, I don't know exactly. I think it was from Guttmacher Institute, but it was like in 2024, 64% of Americans, like all 340 million Americans, they polled, they agreed that 64% of them wanted to allow abortion. So that would mean that anyone who's pro-life, that's their opinion is subjective compared to an
Yeah.
objective opinion, right?
But listen, man, all that I'm asking you is why is it wrong to kill a fetus, and you can't answer.
Why is it wrong to kill a fetus? Yeah, because that's where I always get stumped. I actually, and that's why I'm trying to think maybe I'm actually more pro-choice because like
Awesome.
I don't understand.
Maybe you're
I couldn't really,
pro-choice.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
That's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted.
Fantastic. Woo! We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next guest because that guy just gets. See that he's pro-choice. What the fuck is going on? Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna go to move on to the next guest. I need a second. What I don't know. Like, is it just like me? Or is there like? I feel like there's like something going on with the guest today. You know? Is it me or is it not me? Like, do you guys feel the same way? There's like something going on with the guest today. Okay, you guys agree? Okay, I don't. Okay, great. I just feel like the guests are being a little weirder than most days. You know, Kristen, thank you for the galaxy. And it's not like like the conspiracy grandma of like, wow, Epstein Island, Barack Obama Muslim. It's like. It's like something else. I don't know if I could like vocally describe it in words. Where it's like more so. It's like. I feel like these conversations have been a lot of them have been like just inoperable from the get-go. I don't know. We're going to move on to the next guest. You guys go ahead and hop in that queue. If you support Trump and you're an American adult, that is once again MAGA. And we're going to go ahead and get them up right now. So let's get that next guest loaded into the live right now. You guys go ahead and hop in that queue once again if you are MAGA. And if you do want to support me, you could find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio on TikTok. As well as in the pinned message of that YouTube stream. There's actually a couple people I like to thank. Feisty, thank you for the $10 over on Super Chat. Feisty, it's good to see you again. I hope that you're doing well. As well as Jiggly Fluff. Thank you so much for the $50 over on YouTube. Jiggly Fluff says kidney stones suck. Hope this helps with the copay. Oh, Jiggly Fluff. That was me reading off somebody else's donation when we were talking about the kidney stones. Jiggly Fluff, if you want, I want you to like shoot me a DM, get a hold of me somehow. I will happily send that money back to you. Because that was me reading off a donation from someone else. I will happily send you your $50 back, but thank you for the $50 nonetheless. If you find a way to reach out to me, I will happily send that back to you. What's up? Do you support Trump?
I do.
How old are you?
30 years old.
Great, man. I'm going to give you the mic so you can tell us why you support Trump. But before I do, I want to go ahead and thank a handful of people. Haley, thank you for the $10 on Venmo, saying Medicaid paid for my daughter's NICU and transportation to a different hospital 4 hours away and the surgery she needed to get her G-tube, and it paid for all of her food too. Medicaid is extremely important. Yeah, Medicaid has great coverage for a lot of things. It has some like blind spots though. I think it has a lot of blind spots in like dental and so on. But it's definitely not like the worst. It could be better though, right? We need to be able to recognize that too. As well as Stacy, thank you for the $15 over on Venmo. Stacy says, love how you debate and keep on educating people. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the $15. As well as Heidi, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo, saying my puppy and I watch you all the time. # teaching them young. Dude, that puppy is going to be such a raging liberal when they grow up. Okay, Heidi? Hell yeah. Dude, as well as Liam, man, with another $70 donation on PayPal. Liam, you've been supporting me absolutely all day fucking long. Thank you so much for your kindness, bro. If everyone watching right now could show some massive love to Liam down below in the chat, it'd mean the world to me. Thank you so much once again, Liam. You are an icon. Thank you so much for the $70. And Justin, what year were you born in?
1994.
Why is everyone in the chat saying that this... Dude, this guy's not under the age of 18. What are y'all saying? Dude, every
one video I ever posted.
Yeah, everyone in the chat is like spamming he's under the age of 18. This is not a child. This is not a child, my friends.
Hey, I'll always be a Toys R Us kid. I don't care what people say.
Well, unfortunately, I think they went bankrupt. Rip Toys R Us. But take it away. Why do you support Trump?
Yes, sir. Well, before I get started, and I do so look forward to this having a debate with you. I've been trying for the last few days between you and Parker both. I just want to say, out of everybody that I've seen coming in there trying to debate you, man, it's almost worth me changing sides. There are some idiots out there.
It is worth you changing sides.
Anyways, before we get started, I just want basically choose a topic. We'll go over it because I can say so many different things, and I can go over the abortion. I can go over the big beautiful bill. I can go over the illegal immigrants. The only thing that I will say that is not worth me trying to debate with is the tariffs, and that's just because I haven't done near as much research probably as you have. Okay. So it wouldn't be worth the time. I'd sound like one of the other people out there.
Well, I mean, let me actually take a different route with this. I guess since you're kind of giving me the go-ahead, I'll start the conversation. Sir, do you consider yourself a patriot? Do you care about core American values like the Constitution?
100%, yes, sir.
Okay, and this is where I want to start because I think that this is honestly one of the most compelling arguments against Trump and his administration right now. Can we agree that, like, for instance, if like Biden was trying to prosecute his political opponents, Biden was literally saying it was illegal to like speak negatively upon him in the media, Biden had like violated 4 constitutional amendments, bold-faced, like Biden should be impeached?
I see where you're going, and I will say that I do agree with your point on that what is happening right now should not be happening because it is definitely going against the freedom of speech.
Exactly.
So
exactly. Starting off strong with the constitutional argument. Donald Trump, point number 1, in December of 2022, called for termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. Trump, point number 2, the first day he was inaugurated, signed Executive Order number 14160 into law that violated the 14th Amendment by attempting to take birthright citizenship away from the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil. Trump, point number 3, on his 100 days in interview with ABC, literally told the interviewer that he didn't know if he has to hold to the Constitution or not. Point number 4, a month after that, said that he wanted to run for a 3rd term, which was calling for the termination of the 22nd Amendment that says that it's strictly not allowed and that any president is only allowed to serve 2 terms. Trump, point number 5, then tried to ban burning of the American flag with an executive order. I bet you think that's disrespectful, but guess what? It is covered as free speech, and banning burning of the American flag is objectively more anti-American than burning it in of itself because it's unconstitutional. Then Trump, point number 6, for the last week has been calling for a termination of free speech in my mind by getting Jimmy Kimmel canceled because Jimmy Kimmel said something that he didn't like and then saying that it was literally illegal to criticize him in the media. These 6 points should be more than enough evidence for any reasonable person that does care about core American values, such as the Constitution, to no longer support him as president.
I will say, real quick, I see a lot of people in here commenting saying that I might be driving. I just wanted to point out I am not driving. I'm sitting outside my house, and I live right next to a highway. So you do hear traffic going by. So to solve that. And I will say with what you said that although there are things that he does that I do not agree with, there are a lot of things that he does that I do still agree with. I will agree with you that going against the First Amendment, doing everything he did with ABC and Jimmy Kimmel, I don't agree with that in any way, shape, or form. However, I do still support him for the other motives and morals that he has.
It's just hard for me to conceptualize in my mind of somebody like considering everything that I just described as, just like a bump in the road, maybe one con compared to a red line. But now you're telling us that that's how you feel, so take it away. Tell us what the overwhelming good is that Donald Trump is generating through his presidency that literally outweighs him being the largest threat to the American Constitution and American democracy since the Civil War.
Okay, well, we'll start with the big beautiful bill. I heard earlier you was talking with the guy about Medicaid. Now, granted, Medicaid. Sorry. Now, granted, the guy that was trying to debate you had no remorse on that thing, had no clue what he's talking about. So when we go back to the big beautiful bill, you stated that he took it away from, I think you said 10 million or 10,000, I can't remember, but 10 million Americans.
Yeah, that's a conservative estimate too.
When I looked into the big beautiful bill before it is even officially signed, basically it was stated, they're only taking it away from the people that are trying to be freelancers, and by freelancers I mean the ones that just,
you mean freelancers?
They don't even yeah, sure. So I'm a redneck, bud. My terminology might not be up there, with all the fancy words and whatnot. But so yeah, it's basically going for the freeloaders, the ones that just want to live off the government and get everything handed to them like a piece of candy to a kid. If you read the big beautiful bill, it stated, that Medicaid is still an option. You just basically have to prove that you're actually working. It's still for the low income families, but prove that you're actually trying, not just the ones that are saying, oh, I feel like everything's owed to me. Give me free benefits. Give me food stamps and Medicaid and all of this. And so that's what the big beautiful bill was about, and that's my opinion anyways. That's what I thought I read into.
Okay. So, yeah, you're right in the sense that a lot of people that are being kicked off of Medicaid are being kicked off because of the introduction of a new work requirement. However, where we disagree is that if you're not working, I think that you should be able to have access to essential social safety nets, including Medicaid. Right? Like think about it this way. Can we agree that a low-income American that's unemployed should still have access to an essential social safety net, like calling the cops to report a crime?
I do agree, but if you want my opinion, I think medical in general should be free to the entire U.S. population, whether it be poor, rich, middle class, whatever. I mean, we're the only country out there that requires us to pay for medical. You can go to England or Canada or wherever, and it's an automatic thing.
Now,
So,
what's
but
getting
I
us
do.
what's getting us closer to that end goal of free healthcare for everyone? Taking it away from 10 million people? Is that getting us closer to that goal? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I bet we agree that free healthcare for everyone is a good ideal to hold. But if we are to harness these worldviews and act in accordance with these worldviews, with no negotiation, and every action that we take is to be in accordance with our idealists, then at the end of the day, you saying that you hold this ideal inside of your worldview for free healthcare for everyone, yet simultaneously you support taking free healthcare away from 10 million people, is antithetical to said ideal. Additionally here, there's that concept that I wanted to explore of essential social safety nets being free for everyone, regardless of their employment. Now, I brought up calling the cops. I asked you if a low-income American that's not employed should be able to call the cops. You said yes. Do you mind if you tell me why you think that? Of course, I agree, but it's important we explore the reasons here.
I mean, I feel like everybody should be able to call the cops if something is going down where they need to call the cops. But I guess I am kind of confused on where calling the cops has to do with taking Medicaid away.
I'll show you.
Okay.
I'll show you, because you just said that unemployed low-income Americans should be able to call the cops and have access to that social safety net for the reason that you think everyone should have access to that social safety net. Unemployed low-income Americans should be able to have access to free government health care, regardless of their employment, because you think everyone should have access to free government health care.
Yep. You're correct. But I'm still with my original point on basically the freeloaders, like you said, because I'm sure you can agree.
That's just a derogatory term that you're using to, it's just a derogatory term that you're using to refer to low-income Americans that don't have a job. So you just agreed that low-income Americans that are unemployed should have access to Medicaid, but then you have some dissonance in your mind here where you think that you're talking about a different subject altogether when you're espousing the argument of the unemployed freeloaders that Donald Trump took off of Medicaid. But those quote-unquote unemployed freeloaders, as you like to say, they are the unemployed low-income Americans. We're talking about the same thing here. And then it's also worth mentioning here that it's not freeloading to be an unemployed low-income American accessing the hospital. Because accessing the hospital and having Medicaid cover your bills isn't going to put a roof over your head, isn't going to put food in your mouth, isn't going to put, as I already said, dinner on the table, isn't going to put clothes on your back. It is just simply going to cover your bills and make sure that you do not go into life-crippling debt until the day you die if you were to accidentally break your arm.
Okay, so we can both agree that, yes, it was probably not the best decision to take Medicaid away. However, let's go into the topic of reason why he took it away. Because of the fact, America is however many $1 trillion in debt, and that is where we can agree our tax money that we pay pays for a partial of the Medicaid. I'm sure there's other things in there that go towards it, but a big chunk of it is the American people's tax money. So why would we want to sit there and continue to pay, as an American, as a patriot, continue to pay for all that stuff to provide benefits for the, as we say, freeloaders, the people that just don't care, the people that just sit at home and expect everything to be handed to them? Now, by all means,
it's just dangerously false to equivocate between a low-income American that is unemployed and a lazy low-income American that is freeloading and thinks that they think everything should be handed to them. Have you ever been a low-income American?
I have, very much so.
Okay.
I've struggled most of my adulthood life.
Yeah, no, man, me too. Growing up for a little bit, there were some rough time periods in my adolescence. And there was time periods where my mom was a low-income American that was unemployed for various reasons. And I wouldn't say at that point that she was lazy, freeloaded, and thought everything should be handed to her. I would say that she was going through a really deep and dark period of her life where she actually had it really hard, right? And I think that dangerous generalization, that broad sweeping claim that all unemployed Americans think that everything should be handed to them and they're just merely lazy is an oversimplification of the complexities of life, especially how life can become more complex the less money you make, and minimizes a lot of these facts and just kind of dishes them aside like they're meaningless. It's cruel, right? But I mean, even in considering that fact, now, earlier you agreed that you do think that low-income Americans that are unemployed should have access to medical health services such as Medicaid. So you're actually kind of arguing something that you don't truly believe in unless you've already changed your mind. Because, which one is it? Do you think unemployed low-income Americans should have access to Medicaid per the argument I gave you 5 minutes ago that you conceded to, or do you not? Because right now I'm confused on where you stand, as you seem to be arguing both sides of the equation.
Well, I guess I kind of stand both ways. I do agree to the point. There is. I know where you're coming from. I get it, but it's hard. You have to admit it's hard to, you go to a group of 100 people and 50 of those people are the ones that are simply unemployed, but they're actually trying. They're looking for a job. They're trying, but they're unemployed. The other 50 are the ones that are just sitting there, don't care, and they just expect handouts. It's kind of one of those deals,
Dude,
one person.
Okay, wait. If there's somebody that doesn't care, genuinely lazy, genuinely expects handouts, and they're a low-income American, should that individual still be able to call the cops, access that social safety net that is paid for by the taxpayer to report a crime?
As far as calling the cops, yes.
Why? Why should they be able to do that even though they're genuinely lazy? Why? Is it because it makes society as a whole better off? Is it because it will extend their lifespan and we value their life more than we don't value or hold disdain towards their laziness? Maybe. So if we just want to conceive of this dystopian, cruel depiction that you are superimposing upon low-income Americans of levels of laziness and levels of an expectation of facts from society, well then guess what? Even if for the intents and purposes of this conversation, I assume your cruel perspective here to be true, still yet I value their life more than I hold disdain towards their laziness. Right? And because I value their life more than I hold disdain towards their laziness, I still think that they should be able to go to a hospital and have their bills covered by Medicaid, as it makes society as a whole better off. It might save their life. It will extend their lifespan on average. And those are my values. But once again, I mean, a conversation back and forth between you and me about if low-income Americans are lazy or not is just completely semantic. You're not really bringing up any hard data to demonstrate this is true, and I am to demonstrate that it's false. Under capitalism, income isn't equivalent with, exerted labor. Baron Trump makes more than school teachers, yet I think school teachers work harder than Baron Trump. alongside the fact that there's complexities that can aid and abet insofar as why somebody might be a low-income American that's not working outside of being lazy. But these facts don't matter for our debate because I've already described if we assume that every low-income American is lazy and we value their life more than we don't value their laziness, they should still be able to go to the hospital.
I will say you're definitely a lot better at this whole debate thing than I am. So, and just to avoid us going back and forth, because I feel like that's what would keep happening, let's change topics. Let's choose a different topic to go over, if that's all right. If that's all right with you.
Yeah, I just wish that like the conversations on live today were like actually like seeking truth. I just feel like so many conversations I've had on live today, including the one I'm having with you, if I'm going to be honest, haven't been seeking truth. It's just been trying to push a narrative. You know, like you want to push the narrative that, you know, low-income Americans shouldn't be able to access social safety nets like Medicaid. I give you like really 5 really compelling arguments why you're wrong. And then the response is to ignore them and like say that you want to move on. You know, it's just like, I wish there's more to it. I wish that there's a recognition that you're wrong or a rebuttal if you still think you're right.
Well, okay, let's keep going then. So I get all 5 of your points, and I do understand and agree. You know, low-income Americans should be able to have Medicaid, should be able to call the cops, everything of that nature.
So then you don't support the big beautiful bill.
I was getting ready to say, however, I see your point. However, it still does not justify the ones that we continuously, you know, that we pay our tax money to, putting America further in debt for the ones that are ruining it for the rest of everybody. The ones that are lazy, the ones that just live off the government and don't do nothing else. And that's what the big beautiful bill was intended for.
Okay. So in other words, you're saying that you don't like things that increase the debt? Well, I'm just going to ignore the circle that you just gave us because I already responded to everything that you just said. And rather, I'll just point out the fact that therefore you don't like Trump because we haven't had as big of a spender as him in modern American history. During his first term, he spent $8.6 trillion compared to the $4.6 trillion spent under the Biden-Harris administration. And so far, under his second term, he's already spent $5 trillion in 8 months.
On tariffs? I'm confused.
No, on policy. Like the big beautiful bill, the total net in debt expenditure of the BBB was $4.5 trillion.
Well, honestly, I didn't know that, but it doesn't change the fact. Like I said in the very beginning of this whole conversation before we started, there's a lot of things that he does that I don't personally agree with. However, there's a lot of things that he still does that I do.
So then what is he doing that you agree with? Because you've already described that you disagree with the big beautiful bill because you do think that unemployed low-income Americans should have access to Medicaid. What the fuck is he doing that you agree with? Sorry for cussing. I'm just like, this is insane. Why will no one track a conversation with me today? Maybe I need to take a break.
Okay, well, let's get past the big beautiful bill. Let's get past the big beautiful bill because that's just going to keep us going back and forth. And I don't want to do that. I respect your time, and I don't want you to get head hurt like the people I've heard you talk to do. So, immigration. That's one thing that he's doing that I am wholeheartedly supportive for.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Not really. Not really. You just got done telling us how much you care about the economy, how much you care about our government's expenditure, and how much you care about our government's debt. You cannot go from saying that you are pro-American economy and then say that you're in full heart support of policy that, according to the American Immigration Council, if we were to remove every undocumented immigrant tomorrow, would reduce our GDP by $1.1 trillion through $1.7 trillion per year, while costing $2 trillion to our debt in the next 10 years, while also losing the $100 billion per year that they pay in taxes.
Getting rid of the illegal immigrants will allow the American people to come in and actually work more jobs. And I'm not stating that the immigrants are coming in and taking jobs from everybody, because in a way they're not. But at the same time, I'm in the construction industry. I build houses for a living. And as an American family, I'm a father of 2 kids. And as an American family, it is hard for me to go out there and be able to provide for a living, be able to pay the guys that work for me a decent wage whenever the illegal immigrants are coming in here and driving the market down so cheap.
Driving wages
around
down?
here. Yes, they are.
So why do undocumented immigrants drive wages down on average? Why?
On average, it's because of the fact that all they do, they'll come in here and they'll put 15 to 30 people in one house. So therefore, the bills are spread out substantially amongst them, making it way cheaper for them to live. Then they'll take all the money that they make minus what their living needs.
Why are they more likely to live like multiple individuals to a single property?
That's literally just how it. I mean, in where I'm from, anyways. I'm from Missouri, so I don't know what it may be like wherever you're from. But for an example, in Missouri, you cannot go to a town around here, and you will not find a single Mexican family unless in a single family home.
Okay, well, let's not equate between Mexican and undocumented. That's bigotry.
You're correct. I'm sorry. Illegal immigrants. It's the same way between whether it be Mexican, whether it be people from Russia, Ukraine, they all do the same way. They come in here, they work together simultaneously, living together to provide, for their family. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 second. My kid's coming out here. I need. Can you mute me for like 10 seconds so I can deal with my kid?
Yeah, of course. By the way, everything that you've described so far of undocumented immigrants being more likely to accept lower wages and undocumented immigrants being more likely to live under a single property, that's actually not their fault. It's our government's. And I'll explain to you why when you're back. Now, while he's taking care of his kid or whatever, Rodney, thank you for the $10 super chat over on YouTube. I really appreciate you so much for the love. As well as David with a $10 Canadian dollars over on super chat, saying 10 Canadian dollars from a true North strong from the true North strong and free up there in Canada. I appreciate you for that love, David. If you want to support me, you could find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio over here on TikTok. You could also find it in the pinned message on that YouTube. Let's see if I could. Rowan, that is ROAN, thank you for the $11 over on Venmo, as well as I am going to go ahead and read your message there. I'm just going to keep it to myself, but thank you so much for the love, Rowan. And then Courtney, thank you for the $15 on Venmo, saying thank you for having these conversations. I love what I do. Thank you so much for the love, Courtney. As well as Morgan, thank you for the $10 on PayPal, saying hi, Dean, you're awesome. Watching your lives helps me get through the day. That's awesome. Fuck yeah. As well as Liam, thank you for another 15, as well as I saw your message there. That is very kind. Thank you, Liam. And then Nikisha, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal, saying go back to the middle part hairstyle. Yeah, it'll eventually grow long again, and I'll be back there. Thank you guys so much for the love. I do really appreciate it. Are you back?
Yep, I'm back. I didn't even realize that I can mute myself and unmute myself. I'm sorry.
Okay, guess what? So everything that you just described should make you support leftist ideals of mass amnesty for undocumented immigrants. Can I tell you why?
Sure.
Because you described that your issues with undocumented immigrants are that they drive wages down and that they live like more people under like a single roof. The reason why they're more likely to accept lower wages on average is because they have less bargaining power in the marketplace compared to residents or citizens, as they don't have long-term survivability in the market since they can be deported, as well as it's easier for their employers to exploit them with like a threat of deportation, as well as when they don't have a job, they're more likely to die or starve to death since they cannot access social safety nets such as food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, so on and so forth. Okay? If we were to offer them a pathway to residency or citizenship, make them a resident or citizen, then they have long-term survivability in the market. They're not under the threat of being deported, so level of exploitation goes down, and they'll be able to rely on their social safety nets if they were to be unemployed, so they're not going to die, right? That's going to give them more bargaining power, and when you have more bargaining power, you get higher wages, so their wages would go up. We fixed point number one. What about point number two of living like more people under a single roof? Well, that's because, guess what? It's really hard to find somebody that will rent a property to an undocumented immigrant as they don't have a social security number. Give them social security numbers and all of a sudden the overall market of available housing to them will increase, right? Same thing goes for the buying side of the housing market. It is super duper hard to get a loan to buy a house on an ITIN. You really truly do need an SSN like 95% of the time. You give them residency or citizenship and that shit goes up, right? So guess what? The two issues that you just described are not only solved, but actually reversed and made beneficial if you were to offer undocumented immigrants a pathway to residency or citizenship.
Okay, now let's look at the previous 4 years in the Biden-Harris administration when they basically not literally had open borders, but they basically had open borders. They were providing it what do you call it?
I'm not going to let you pivot there, dude. Absolutely not.
Okay, that's fine. Then we won't. That's fine. So I get what you're coming.
Before you continue, yo, Ricky, is this the real Ricky?
Yo, I like your haircut, bro.
I thought it was Ricky 47.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, you're fine. What was that? Oh yeah, so I'm not trying to pivot. So, in my opinion, he's trying to get rid of all the illegal immigrants due to the fact because it is lowering American wages. It is making it harder for the American people to.
You're not responding to anything that I just said. I'm sorry, bro, but you're not. I appreciate the fact that you're trying to be respectful to me, but you're not responding. I just gave you the very specific points of why the opposite of mass deportation, of mass amnesty, would not only be beneficial to the country's economy, but it also fix the issues that you described of undocumented immigrants having downward pressure on wages. You know, like I'm sorry, bro. It's like I'm really trying to be nice here, but
on this debate,
just not engaging with the points.
Nope, I understand where you're coming from. So I'll go ahead and I'll admit defeat on this debate. I'm sure you do these lives almost every day. I want to do some more research and have stuff in front of me that I can go off of, and I will try to come back in and debate you again.
You know what? Sounds good to me, Justin. You have a good rest of your day, bro.
You too, sir.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next guest. Right now, that guy he was like trying to be respectful. You know, he was like trying to hold a dialogue. But like you know, it just maybe because he is like low information. It was difficult, so I appreciate that response. Feel free, man. Go, Ricky, not Ricky. Why did I call him Ricky? Feel free, please go do your research. You know, like feel free to. I love when people do research. Usually, you know, when you do research, you become left leaning, since reality is left leaning. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir, I do.
How old are you, Aaron?
I will be 30 on October 17th.
Great, man. Go ahead and take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
I support Trump because it's not necessarily a lot about his policies. It's more so the demographic that follows with him and the beliefs and the traditional values that I hold and what the left has
Traditional
done.
values, but then you got G59 in the name. Poser.
Yes.
Get out of here. Get out of here. You're a poser.
No. Hell.
No, you don't get to enjoy. You don't get to enjoy. I don't even think I could say the name of the band on live because of the first word of it. You don't get to enjoy.
Well, you know that
SB.
they recently found Jesus Christ as their savior.
You don't get to enjoy SB if you're pushing this traditionalist propaganda.
What are you talking about? They recently just found Jesus Christ as their savior.
They found.
They've been saying about it on Gray Day. Yes, look it up.
You could be a Christian.
They've been saying it all Gray Day.
Traditionalist.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to the original point. Okay. My point is this: is that in 2016, I originally voted for Bernie Sanders in the Democratic primaries after seeing what the left had did and how Antifa took a rise.
Antifa?
And tried, yes. And
I'm
Antifa took a
Antifa.
rise.
I'm Antifa.
Okay. Yes. That's cool.
Are you?
But no, I am not.
You're not Antifa?
Not in the sense of grouping up and burning down buildings.
You're not anti-fascist?
I'm Antifa in the sense of I'm anti-fascist in the sense of taking down people like Putin or Hitler.
So you are Antifa?
I'm not in the sense of burning down buildings.
But Antifa, there's not
Antifa.
There's
The
not
version
an
of Antifa
organization. There's not an organization.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Who's the
As
CEO?
somebody who-
Hassan Piker?
It's not a CEO. It's more so like a splinter group. Do you know what ISIS turned into after we demolished them in Iraq? Turned in like 20 different groups, right? Just because there isn't a head of the snake doesn't make it a group.
Okay, just go ahead and continue. Tell us why you support Trump.
But I support Trump because the left demonizes and is very anti-family, very anti-traditional. And by me saying this, in no way do I support any of Trump's felonies. I don't support that. I support Trump seriously because of the group of people that support him. Because I align my values with him.
You're bringing
I
me
align
back
my
right
values
now.
with him.
You are bringing me back right now. So the big blow up for me was the 1v20 woke teen versus conservatives that I did on Jubilee. And my third point on that video, which is why I say that you're bringing me back right now, was that the right is so destructive for American families. And it looks like
How
we're
do you
going to be
figure-
hopping back into that debate literally right now. So you just told me that the left is bad for American families. I think that the left is good for American families. And I think that the right is destructive for American families. Let me explain. First and foremost, motherfuckers are pro-life. Do you know what we see in areas with pro-life legislation? We see destroyed families. Okay, why? It's because you are reshifting the family dynamic away from financially well-off adults that want to start a family, that consent to having children, into forcing 18, 19, and 20-year-old boys and girls into being moms and dads because their state legislator said that the woman's body is basically their property. Right? She doesn't get a say-so anymore. And on top of that, you know, all the homophobic rhetoric and all the shit that is spewed by the right against two mothers and two fathers is so destructive to the family unit, considering the fact that we have cohorts of studies to demonstrate that it doesn't matter if you're raised by a mom and a dad, two moms or two dads, you're going to have the same family outcomes. But then for whatever reason, at the end of the day, you want to turn around and demonize the two moms, demonize the two dads, generating worse family outcomes on average just by stigmatizing it to begin with. Okay, and another point is we have social safety nets in this country that benefit families for your kids, right? Oh, and on top of that, what about just straight up the child tax credit? Okay, when the Biden-Harris administration increased the child tax credit under the American Rescue Plan in 2021, childhood poverty went down by 40%. Kamala Harris's response to this, because it was so good at helping American families, was to run on doubling it, to double it from $3,000 to $6,000 for the first year of a child's life, $3,600 for the second 4, then $3,000 until they're 18, because of the outcomes that it generated that were so pro-American family. In response to this, the Trump administration was like, we can't critique that. That is obviously a good policy, but we are evil Republicans, so we're just going to increase it by $200, right? Which they did, but if Kamala Harris was elected, it would be significantly higher. And most American families are what? Those of middle-class Americans and low-income Americans. And if we want to help those American families, we need to help the middle-class Americans and the low-income Americans. The only time that trickle-down economics is genuinely true is how we impact the families, more so the parents of the families, and how their economic well-being, how they are off, will trickle down to their children's well-being. But guess what? According to the CBPP, 156 million Americans in low and middle income tax brackets are now going to be worse off with less purchasing power because of the big beautiful bill, meaning that trickle down effect is also going to negatively impact them, their family, and their children.
Not to be rude, but is there going to be a time limit when you allow me to speak?
No, I could go on all day about how bad the right is for American families. Should I stop there?
I could go just as long as you can on how bad the left is, such as incentivizing, inner city classes of people, right? With like destroying the black home, like incentivizing, single mothers in African American communities. I could go on and on, just like my good friend Charlie Kirk could,
So how is the left destroying black families in America?
Incentivizing them to become single mothers and giving them free housing in Section 8 or Section 6
So how is the left
housing.
incentivizing single family homes for black Americans?
By telling the mother she can, hey, you go have 7 baby daddies, and
This just sounds like racism.
It's not.
I'm trying to find a way to understand you that isn't just racism.
Okay. Listen.
Wait, what do you mean? The left is telling specifically black women that they could go out and fuck 7 black men. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm trying to get at is
what the fuck are you saying?
The fact is if the right was as racist as people said it was.
Explain your point about the black women and their 7 baby daddies. What was that?
I'm getting there. I have to build up to
I want you to expand on that point. What the fuck did you mean?
My point is that the 2024 election showed exactly why the right isn't racist. Every single race almost jumped up by 7% in their voting towards Donald Trump. If Donald Trump is this racist man, if he's this racist man that everybody portrays him to be, that Antifa, the terrorist organization, plants him to be, right? Then why did every single race, from Asians, Hispanics, and blacks, jump up
Black
nearly
people.
7% or higher.
So yeah, your argument is no, Trump and the right, they're not racist, even though the KKK endorsed him, because a minority
and David Duke used to run as a Democrat.
minority of black Americans supported Trump as president. Okay, by the way,
David Duke used to run as a Democrat.
wait,
by
that
the way.
statement is self-contradicting because you're saying he used to run as a Democrat, therefore this means Democrats are racist. But when he endorses a Republican, more so Trump, that doesn't mean Trump is racist. Self-refuting, contradictory point. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to go back to what I'm going to go back. It is contradictory. I'm going to go back to what I was saying because I think this next point is incredibly meaningful. You're saying because a minority of black Americans supported Trump in the 2024 election, that therefore there's no way him or the GOP could be racist. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that anti-suffragette movements to attempt to prevent women from getting the right to vote in the 1920s was misogynistic?
No, I believe women should vote.
No, the anti-suffragette movements.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I didn't fully hear what you said. But I believe that women should vote.
Right.
Let me get that clear.
We'll just say movements at the time to attempt to prevent women from getting the right to vote. Can we agree those were misogynistic?
Clearly.
Really? Because a minority of them were led by women. Do you see how your point self-refutes here? Yeah, okay. Just because a minority of a group, right, would like support a movement that ultimately will disproportionately result in like oppression towards themselves, right? This doesn't necessarily mean that the movement in of itself doesn't perpetuate said oppression. And my evidence would be the example that I just gave, where you agreed that clearly movements to attempt to prevent women from getting the right to vote in the 1920s were misogynistic, even though a minority of them were led by women.
Can I clear something up? Just because I follow somebody doesn't mean anything.
What a weird thing to say in the middle of a debate.
No, because I'm getting ate up in the comments by people who just want to like defame somebody without even knowing anything about this. Why can I not just have a simple debate and people just attack me for what I'm talking about? Come at me for my point. Don't come at me for anything else.
Every time. Every single time. Every time. Why? Every single time. By the way, what I'm seeing clicking through your following list right now is like a bunch of like goth porn stars. Now, people in the comment section, I've seen a couple of people suggest teens or minors. If there is, like, I'm gonna keep on looking because like everyone that I'm seeing is like an adult, but is just a goth corn star, which just seems like it's funny because you're gonna sit up here and espouse your shit. I mean, earlier you were talking about traditionalism. I'm sure if I went down that pathway, you'd be saying that feminism has failed this country. Feminism is terrible for women. Women need to submit to men, and men are the leaders. But meanwhile, your whole fucking following list of like 3,000 people is goth corn stars.
But I come up here in good faith, and I want you to like help teach me things. I've debated you before. I have, and I've debated partner.
How long ago?
The reason why it was probably about like 4 months ago. I actually come up here so I can like learn more, because I'm not exposed to like half the stuff that you've probably been exposed to in the groups and stuff that you have.
Yeah. 1 second. I still see like some people in the comment section saying like little girls. If there's any evidence of that, feel free to drop it on the Discord. I'm not finding any, so I'm gonna enact y'all. But go ahead. Do you want to make your next point?
No, I'm trying to like actually learn here, and I'm being attacked because I give people follows who follow and
it's just
like my pages posts.
Listen, man, it's just like I feel like we hear this story a billion times over of the Republican traditionalist that likes to shit on women, then being so infatuated by the strip clubs and porn stars.
Okay, but listen.
It's just a little We see it all the time.
Everybody that I've followed has sent me a follow back because of the videos and stuff I've posted. I do follow for follow. That's all I do.
Sure, my friend. So,
no, I have proof.
I guess we'll just go ahead and pick up where we left off. Let's see. Where did we leave off? Because now at this point, I'm a little bit confused myself. I think that where we left off was on the point of why you think that the left is bad. Oh, you're racism. Oh, yeah. Okay. Right. So point number
my God,
one,
I'm not racist.
I refuted your argument.
Can we just,
dude? You were talking. You were completely stereotyping black women. Yes, stereotyping black women is racist. I'm not going to act like it isn't. And I don't feel like that's contentious or debatable either. You're talking about black women and their 7 baby daddies. Come on. That one's obvious. That one's obviously racist. Racial stereotypes.
How is it racist?
Because it's a racial stereotype.
I'm asking you to
more
teach
so
me.
a racial stereotype.
I'm asking you to teach me instead of attacking me. Teach me.
Yes.
Rather than coming at me on a personal level.
I will teach you. I will teach you. I will teach you. You got it. It is because you went on to talk about black women and how black women have like 7 baby daddies, and more so. And this conversation was framed within harm and negativity. Right, painting a depiction of negativity surrounding black women and the apparent decisions that black women make under the umbrella of a stereotypical set of decisions. So that is what we define as a racial stereotype.
Can I rescind my quote?
That would be racist.
Can I rescind my quote and say that I was wrong?
Yeah, definitely you can.
Okay, well, I'll rescind my quote, and maybe I should do more research.
Good. I hope that you do. I appreciate you for recognizing that you said that was wrong, and I hope that you do more research. Now, I also want you to address the fact that you said because a minority of black Americans supported Donald Trump in the 2024 election, that therefore Trump or the GOP can't be racist. But then I critique that line of thought by bringing up the fact that obviously movements that attempted to prevent women from getting access to the right to vote were misogynistic, even though a minority of those movements included women and were led by women. So do we see there how just because a movement can include a woman doesn't mean that the movement is not misogynistic? And just like if a movement such as MAGA can include a minority of black Americans doesn't mean that that movement is not racist?
I can get with that, and what I'm trying to understand though is what explains the jump of voters from 2020 to 2024 in the minority groups though?
Well, we had a jump in voters, not in just minority groups, but in every group in America and nearly every county in America. Because I think what explains this greater shift is going to be misinformation surrounding the outcome of the pandemic. People blamed the inflation onset by COVID on Biden. People blamed the negative economic conditions onset by COVID on Biden. And Biden did nothing about it with no counter messaging. And Trump just had a heyday lying to everybody in their faces. That's what I think won Trump the 2024 election. That's what I think got a lot of people to shift to voting for him, including, once again, a minority of marginalized communities in this country.
Okay. I get that you're falling back on the the COVID and stuff like that, but is there do you not realize that there's a attack on religiousness also in this country?
No, there actually absolutely is an attack on religious views. And right now that attack is being led by Trump and the GOP. And for the most part, I'm seeing that attack on Muslim individuals.
And I want to be clear that I do not get down with anybody being judged on their religious views.
Then you'd never support Trump as president, given in 2015, he called for a total and complete shutdown of all Muslim immigrants into America.
I fully believe that life and liberty are something I classify myself technically as a libertarian. I want like small government and more like individual rights.
Then you
if
don't
that makes
support
sense.
Trump because not only is he ballooning the national debt and expenditure, which is big government, but he's also attacking our individual rights. 3 days ago, he said that the media literally doesn't have the legal ability to criticize him.
Yeah, but where does criticism begin and opinion end? Because what if it's
exactly now, dude? You just said that you're a libertarian and you think we should have a small government with personal rights, but now you're like, yes, I also support state-controlled media.
No, I'm not saying state. No, what I'm saying is like, say that a media member is spouting false information, right? And then that gets put out and it's never fact checked by, and then that other media like reports off that other media.
How old are you? How old are you, Aaron?
29. Wow.
Get out of here. Moving on to the next guest. Y'all know why I did that, especially the people in the comment section. What the fuck? Shit. Moving on to the next guest. Hop in that queue if you support Trump. What the hell? Yeah.
A moderator accepted your request. Oh.
What's up? Do you support Trump?
I do. I voted for him, but you're making me really rethink myself, so I just have some questions.
You got it. Hell yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
Sounds
I
good.
heard you say I'd rather people ask
before-
questions and support a narrative, so I'm here for it.
Before we hop into the discourse, do you mind if I thank a handful of people?
No, go ahead.
Awesome. First and foremost, Lori, thank you so much for the $50 donation over on Super Chat. I really appreciate you for that love. Thank you so much, Lori. Let's get 500 Lori W's down below. That is seriously so fucking kind of you. Lori with a $50 says, anti-family. I'm a 61-year-old grandma. My 17-year-old grandson comes here every other weekend. My son is here and calls me multiple times a week. Brody and I play PS5, watch movies, play Cat and Pandemic, and card games. We are a very close family. I'm going to go and assume that Miss Lori's talking about that last guy's comments about how the left is anti-family. Dude, some of the most loving and kind families I know of are those on the left, but I think it's just the policy of the right that is just so divisive and anti-family, not to mention, the GOP moms and dads that are willing to literally reject their children over their sexual orientation or gender identity. Thank you so much for the love, Lori. That is very kind of you. Let me also go ahead and check PayPal and Venmo real quick. If you do want to support me, you can find my PayPal and my Venmo in the link tree in my bio. Let me thank Kelly for the $10 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love. And I did just read that message. We had to remove them. I do apologize, Kelly. As well as Caroline, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo. Let's get 200 Caroline W's in that chat. She says, intelligence. Thank you for taking on the misinformed, the stubborn, and the know-it-alls. Thank you, Kelly. Sorry, not Kelly, Caroline. And I appreciate you for being here, and thank you for the love. As well as Madison, thank you for the $20 on Venmo, saying I actually love you so much, and I think what you do is incredible and truly inspiring. I've learned so much from you. Madison, that is my goal, and I'm so happy that you've been able to take away some knowledge from the streams here. I love the streams. Not only are they entertaining and funny at points, but they're also like very informative. You know what I mean? And I fucking love that so much. As well as, let's see here, Laura, thank you for the $25 over on PayPal. Show some love to Laura down below in that chat. Seriously, thank you. Thank you so much. Saying the right is trying to emulate the person they think Charlie was, and it's going to turn them liberal. Well, I mean, I disagree it's going to turn them liberal, but that is actually a good point. By painting Charlie to be some nice, kind-hearted, good person, good for everyone person, pro-equality for all, is the implicit endorsement of leftist ideals inside of the GOP. I don't know if they're going to be cognizant enough in order to make that self-recognition, so I don't know if it's actually going to turn them liberal, but that is still yet a good point. Very interesting thought there. As well as Abby, ABI, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. That is very kind of you. Show some love to Abby down below. And then Danielle, good to see you again. Thank you for the $25. Thank you, Danielle. Show some love to Danielle in that chat. Danielle says, Sundays are always so wild. Today's definitely been wild. Holy fuck. As well as Nikisha, once again, thank you for the 15 Canadian dollars over on PayPal. Matthew with a 5 and Tyler, that is Tylah. Thank you so much for the $10. As well as I read your message there. Make sure to also, live your life. Have some fun. You know what I'm talking about. As well as Lindsay with the $5 saying, keep up the good work, fella. Thank you, Lindsay. Go ahead and take it away. Do you support Trump?
I did. I voted for him, but I'm honestly, after this election, I'm not really sure that I made the right decision, and I just have so many questions.
Yeah. So, usually I don't allow people that, no longer support Trump to step on the live, but you said that you feel like I'm pushing you left. Feel free to ask a couple questions. Why the hell not?
Thank you. So at first, I really thought that he was doing the right thing because he came on there and said that so many people were coming over here as illegals that were killing Americans. And I haven't really found factual evidence. I don't know if that's actually true. And now I'm kind of wondering about that.
For sure. First and foremost, I like to call undocumented immigrants. And I've said this a lot. The reason why is because I think that our society takes so much of their humanity away. We should give some of it back. Now, talking about undocumented immigrants just killing everyone. Dude, that is what Trump was saying. That's what the GOP was saying. That's what the largest Republican lawmakers was saying. You could go to his TikTok, find his 5th video, where he's literally saying that undocumented immigrants, like, they all just escaped mental asylums and prisons. And, you know, at the time of the election, if that's all that you were hearing, you know, that's gonna lead to those beliefs. But it's not true at all. In fact, the factual evidence, if we want to talk about undocumented immigrants and crime rates, we look no further than a research conglomerate by the name of PNAS, who's been tracking crime rates in America since the 19th century. Over the last 100 years, there's been a clear and consistent trend of undocumented immigrants being less likely to commit violent crimes or any crime at all compared to American citizens. The average undocumented immigrant is 2.5 times less likely to commit a violent crime in this country than the average U.S.-born citizen. They're 3 times less likely to commit property crimes and 3.5 times less likely to commit petty crimes. So the narrative that they're evil people, the narrative that they're violent people, the narrative that they're so disposed to crime is false. And of course, that narrative is ultimately derived from the fact that they broke federal law coming into the country as an undocumented immigrant. But they didn't do that with vindication in their heart, not vindication, with hate and vitriol in their heart towards this country and the law and the rule of law, but rather because the legal means of entering into this country are just so damn unattainable. It could take somebody like 12 years to legally immigrate in here. So, of course, if there's an easier way for them to jumpstart their life and better provide for themselves and their families, they're going to take it. If I was in their shoes, I might too. Shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So my next question, I guess, just with how much you're educated, what do you think about, instead of being on either side, what do you think about being like more so independent? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, so right now the independent party is just like right coded. The independent party is where like self-described free thinkers that, you know, are like aligned with the right, but also recognize that Trump isn't the best president ever, but still ultimately do support and endorse him. That's where they land. But I don't think that just conceptually the ideal of like yearning to operate outside of a two-party system where neither side is of perfection is wrong, right? Okay. I would just say generally that it's okay to like strive for a better political system in this country where we have candidates achieving what should be accomplished and not merely voting for the lesser of two evils every 2 and 4 years. In fact, I align with you there, but at the end of the day, every 2 and 4 years, it is time where push comes to shove and you should vote for the lesser of two evils for progress. And that side in modern American history, at least in my mind, has always been the left.
Yeah, I can understand that. And after some of these videos that you put out, like, I really can't disagree with half of it. I just wanted to come on here and make sure that I got the best of all of it and not just what he puts out.
Yeah, do you have any other questions?
I'm trying to think. I feel like I do. I just have so much anxiety right now.
No worries at all.
So, another thing. So he came out, I'm trying to think the other question I was going to ask you. He said something about Kamala Harris didn't want to answer certain questions and whatever, and he wanted to, and then he wanted to, and basically what he's been doing is kind of taking back our constitutional rights, as you literally said, word for word. He's taken, I think you said 5. And I just don't understand how he's allowed to do that and how we can't push to impeach him at the same time. So, and I feel bad because I voted for him, but I'm not happy.
So, like, according to the text of the Constitution, he's not allowed to violate it, right? But the question is, like, who the hell is going to check him? You know, it's like
that's what I want to know.
The Supreme Court. Well, I think that our Justice Department could grow a spine. That's what they could do. Now, the Supreme Court has checked him on a handful of decisions, but they still are ultimately letting him get away with most of his agenda. And then, you know, here's the DOJ and Pam Bondi under his thumb. I mean, just yesterday, he accidentally posted what was supposed to be a private transmission to Pam Bondi on Truth Social. Here he's just straight up telling her to prosecute his political opponents, like Lolita James, I believe that's her first name, is Lolita. I might be mispronouncing that, etc. and so on. And ultimately, you know, the goal would land on Congress to grow a damn spine and impeach him. or on the Justice Department as a whole, including circuit courts, SCOTUS, and the DOJ at the federal level to grow his spine and to, prosecute him for his wrongdoings. But I would say the DOJ is never going to do that under Pam Bondi. So our best bet is to increase social awareness around his blatant constitutional attacks and hopefully instill a fear in the eyes and souls of politicians already in Congress and running for the seats of those that will be up for re-election in the midterms to do something about it. And that's why I talk a lot about his unconstitutional shit and behaviors and actions, because I do legitimately think that is going to be the easiest path with the least resistance, although there is still a shit ton, towards getting him out of office by voting candidates in the midterms who are willing to actually do something about it and hopefully impeach him.
I agree. Honestly, I really don't know where to go from here, and I'm hoping that we can do it, but thank you for your time. I seriously appreciate it, and I really appreciate the education.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for allowing me a chance to kind of explore my own thoughts there, too. That was fun. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.
Hell yeah, dude. That makes me happy. Good to see Americans waking up. Let's go, Sierra, dude. She voted for Trump in 2024. Look at her today. W fucking yes, man. Holy shit. As well as SS, thank you for the 10 Australian dollars over in Super Chat saying, hey, Dean, love the videos. They're very insightful, even though I live in Australia. Fuck yeah, I'm happy that you like them. As well as Haley with the $10 saying, hey, Dean, I heard you just read off a donation about Charlie Kirk and people being more liberal. You don't really think that this gun violence will help the right think differently? That's my hope. Well, that's my hope too, right? But that's just not the reaction that we've seen. The reaction that we've seen has been, new levels of inflammatory rhetoric calling for civil war, and the just further growing divide in the country, saying that, the left did this and now we need to consider you a terrorist if you're anti-fascist, and, the alt-right isn't a problem, but, the far left is, according to our president. And that makes me worried, and this is also a time where even outside of government or outside a turning point and their loyalists, where a lot of people online are now like, ooh, you think that Charlie Kirk was bad? Well, now I'm going to start supporting blatant self-described white supremacists instead, and you'll see just how bad it will get. Nick Fuentes, or that Milo guy who everyone on the right has been talking about. It's just, it's scary. It is. And I think that in the last week and a half, we've just seen a trend of shit, getting worse over there. Yeah, like a lot of people on the right were talking about how his assassination could be like a turning point in the country. And what I'm concerned about is if it is a turning point for America in all of the wrong ways, But I understand why you would have some hope in suggesting that maybe this will wake the right up and make them more sympathetic to more liberal ideals. But I just don't think that's actually is going to be what happens. But anyways, let's go ahead and get back to the debates. Hop in that queue if you support Trump. We're probably going to go ahead and do maybe a handful of other individuals. How long have we been live? We've already been live for 4 hours. Shit. Okay. So this will actually be our last guest. Woo! Time is flying tonight. Wow, we're already almost 4 hours in. Jeez. Holy shit. What a day it has been. Let me go ahead and thank a handful of people here. Jess, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. And I will do that. I didn't get a chance to watch that. I will. Thank you for the love, Jess. As well as Jennifer, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. I really appreciate you for that love. Jennifer with the 20 says, thank you for being the voice we need. Please say hi to Dakota. Hi, Dakota. And thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so much. As well as Morgan with the $15 over on Venmo. Thank you, Morgan. Morgan, you actually just suggested that I do the same thing that Jess recommended. I'm going to keep it to myself, but yeah, I will do that when I'm off. As well as Kelly, thank you so much for the $10. Once again, you are awesome. Let's also go ahead and check that PayPal. Let's check it out here. You guys have been so fucking kind today. Lindsay, dude, thank you for the $50 donation over on PayPal. Thank you so fucking much. Thank you. Lindsay with the $50. Show some love to Lindsay down below. She says, Trump says Trump saying, wait, W/T? I was trying to interpret that. I think you mean to say Trump says smart people don't like me. We need more bold, educated people like you to inform others. Yeah, he was right. Smart people don't support him. Smart people don't support him at all. Thank you for the love, Lindsay. As well as, let's see here. Neil, thank you for the $10, saying thank you, Dean, for fighting the good fight. I appreciate you for that love. Thank you, Neil. And then Erica, holy fuck. Erica, thank you so much for the $150 donation over on PayPal. Thank you, Erica. That is so much money. That is so kind of you. Thank you for your generosity. Seriously, holy shit. I want to see some major love for Erica down below in that comment section. Erica says, amazing education you are providing. Keep it up. This grandma is proud of you. Thank you. Dude, Erica, I hope that you're having a great day. I appreciate you for tuning in, and thank you so much for the $150 donation. As well as Lauren, thank you for the $10 on Venmo, saying these 4 hours go by fast sometimes. Time flies when you're having fun. Oh, yeah, I have fun just grilling the Trump supporters. I try to keep that to myself, though. You see it slip through with a smile here and there, though. Donald, thank you so much for the $20 as well on Venmo. Just drop us some hearts. Thank you so much, Donald. As well as Jana with the $2 saying, recently I got my MAGA mother to start watching your live. She loves what you're doing, and she is starting to change her viewpoints. Thank you so much for bringing light to our corrupt government and changing the mindset of so many people. Jana, that means the world to me. That is my goal. And I'm so happy that we're trying to achieve it and that we're making fucking progress. You know what I mean? Now for everyone hanging out with us in here. Do you want to do one more debate or just kind of hang out and I could take questions from the chat? Do a little bit of a Q&A. We haven't done that for a while. I think that would be fun personally. I'm with that. Nerf, thank you for the galaxy. And then Daniel, the $20 on Super Chat saying thank you for doing what you do. Then well, thank you, Daniel, so much for your support. That is very kind of you. Thank you so much. Okay, you guys are saying one more. Some people are saying both. I can't do both. So should we do one more debate or Q&A? And I'll seriously just let like the mob win. Okay, the mob right now is selecting one more. Is that the final selection of the mob? It is. The pitchforks are up and are demanding that we do one more debate, so let's go and hop into it. All right, let's go to get Danny up here. We got Danny loading in. What's up, Danny? You support Trump? Very impressive, Danny. Goodbye, Danny. All right. Let's go to get Brian loaded up into the box. Hey, Haley, thank you for the $10 on Venmo saying thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Haley. That's very kind of you. Thank you. What's going on, Brian? You support Trump? Brian's gone. By the way, Parker should be live here like any second. In fact, he might already be. Are you live yet? It'd be fun to coast with Parker for a while. I miss coasting with him. I do. We're going to try to get Danny up here. He's live. Based. What's up, Danny? You support Trump?
I voted for him, yes.
Do you still support him today?
No.
So incredibly based, Danny. Unfortunately, we are only looking to talk to people that still do support Trump. We're going to go to get that next guest loaded up in here. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, stop running.
Do you support Trump because fetuses possess future like ours?
Perhaps.
Perhaps? Is that perhaps the reason, Divine Order?
It's perhaps the reason. When are you going to stop running, man? You can't use the excuse that I'm English. You debate Palestine and you're not from there.
So you're telling me because I discuss American policy relevant towards funding and ongoing ethnic cleansing that it's unfair for me to suggest that I'm only talking to Americans that support Trump as president?
Yes. I think it's an excuse, man.
You know what I'm going to tell you to do about it?
You just don't want to debate abortion with me. I understand. If I was you, I wouldn't do it either.
You know what I'm going to tell you to do about that? That level of unfairness that you think you see?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to ask you to cry about it, Divine Order.
Dodge.
And we're going to go to get that next guest up in here. We got Billy Chase. We got Billy Chase loading into the stream. Here we go. Yeah, he's British. Nah, bro, he really wants to debate me. He wants to debate me on abortion. I used to debate Divine like every other week, on God, on abortion. I've talked to him a shit ton. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up into the queue, guys. What's up? Do you support Trump?
I voted for Trump in the last election, but I have been watching you continuously, like anytime you're live on TikTok. And I just am really confused. So obviously I feel bad for Charlie Kirk. You know, that was not okay at all. But I don't support everything he says, but I don't also understand everything he's saying, if that makes sense.
I'm going to be honest, not really. I just want to clarify, how old are you?
I'm 19.
Okay, I assume that you're like over the age of 18 because it looks like your account, like your mama one, looks like you have like a husband, so I assume so. This is not a child. This is not a fetus, everyone. So overall, if you could teleport back in time to November, would you still vote for Trump?
I think I wouldn't vote at all, to be honest.
All right. Well, I mean, honestly, at this
Because
point,
I don't understand everything the left side is. Does that make sense?
what do you want to understand about the left? I don't usually do this, but what are you looking for?
Like, I understand pro choice,
Yeah.
obviously, and the ban on guns. But what I'm not understanding is, like, the reason everybody hates Trump so much.
Oh, it's because of how bad he is, right? You know, like, I understand how from like a perspective of like some level of ignorance, you know, you could like look at how much how much the left just like truly like loathes Trump, and you'll be like, oh, like they're crazy. Like, why do they hate him so much just because he was a Republican, right? But like, it's not just because he's Republican. It's because he fulfills all 14 tenets of fascism. Right? It's like, it's not just because he's a Republican. It's because he was like best friends with Jeffrey Epstein and sent him a letter talking about their wonderful secrets outlined by the body of what it looks like to be a naked girl. It's not just because he's a Republican. It's because he was like found guilty of raping a woman. You know, it's not just because he's a Republican. It's because he literally said that he wants to control the media and that it's illegal to criticize him on TV. Like, dude. Like, I feel like this is one of those moments where it's like, if you were to have simultaneous access to all the information that I have access to, you would probably hate him more than I do because of how it personally impacts you. But I don't know. I hate him a lot.
Yeah, I can tell by watching your lives. Also, another thing I was curious about was the whole Epstein files.
Yeah. Honestly, here's what I'm going to do. What I recommend you do, I want you to go on Google, look up Trump's letter to Epstein. You could read the reporting.
I've seen it on TikTok. It was like something about, like their secrets and everything, and it was like drawn out.
Yeah.
And it was Donald Trump's signature at the bottom. And then I watched a couple news reports, and he was saying, like, that's not my signature.
Yeah, well, it is, and he lied.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on to the next guest, but actually, quickly before I do, I'll just show you this. Boop. Okay. Right. So what you see here is going to be the signature on the Epstein card on the top, compared to the signature on two other things, two other letters that he had sent to Larry King and Lillian Volk around the same time. You'll see that it is identical. Definitely is his signature, but. You have a good rest of your day. I hope that you have a good one. I appreciate you for coming up and asking some questions. Damn, chat. You guys are, y'all are hard, man. She was just asking some questions. I don't know. We're towards the end of the stream, so I'm feeling like a little loosey-goosey. I was willing to roll with it. But it's my fault that y'all are so hard. No, it is, right? Because what have I been doing for like the last 4 months? If you're not here to debate me on why you support Trump, you're banned. So that's me right there, bro. That's me right there. My bad. What's up? Do you support Trump? No, Meg's not here. Moving on. By the way, I haven't really talked about this a whole lot on live, but there's been like continually perpetuated propaganda. Actually, that's a little bit rough. Misinformation that I'm gonna go to the right and that I'm now a MAGA conservative political grifter. I thought I'd just like repeat if you see that, like, it's not true and it's born out of an out of context clip. And you could see the clip in full context as well as an explanation on like my 4-3 post. I've just been seeing it everywhere, man. I have. And it's discouraging, but ultimately I think it's misinformation that is just going to be like weeded out over time, if that makes any sense. Right? Because like ultimately I'm going to continue to do this and I'm going to continue to be a goddamn progressive forever, right? So it's like in like 2 or 3 months from now, when everyone is still like looking at like, oh, Dean Withers, he's on live calling himself a progressive debating Trump supporters. Oh, maybe that thing that I saw was false. You know what I mean? Just gonna get that next guest loaded up in here. Hop in that queue if you support Trump. We'll get you connected. But like, it's pretty rough out there. It's pretty rough out there, man. So I was watching a religious debate stream earlier today. And I sent them a super chat and I was like, yo, dude, one of these days you should get me up there as a special guest. And then like 40% of the people in the TikTok live stream comment section were like, no, if you get Dean up here, I'm going to block you, never watch you again because he's a fake, performative, grifting progressive, which was pretty disheartening. They turned on their camera, so I'm just going to immediately kick them. I don't know what they were showing though. Okay, I realistically got to get offline. I'm going to try one more time here to get a debate going. So go ahead and hop in the queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Trump as president, and we're going to get you connected. This is going to probably be my last attempt. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I support Trump.
Do you support Superman?
I want to talk about one thing.
How old are you?
Before we talk about this.
How old are you?
I want you to.
How old are you?
2005, October 19.
Okay. It sounds like you got a TV on in the background. Is there anything that we could do here to quiet things down?
Yeah, I could turn it down.
All right, you could like mute the TV, go into a different room.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna turn it off. I got you. My bad. I didn't mean to disrespect you like that.
Yeah. Okay. So why do you support Trump as president?
Before we talk about that, I want to talk about something first because I've been in here for a minute.
I don't really have too much time. But it's like, what do you want to talk about?
It'll be fast. Just let me tell you, please. I need to say this, or it's just not going to work out. Because I understand you on a different level. Because I've been sitting here listening, and I got a little zooted.
Very interesting. What do you want?
And I want to
talk
explain.
about?
I heard you having a conversation with a guy earlier about abortion, and he was talking about Santa Claus saying Santa Claus is real to your kids is illegal. I forgot what it was compared to.
Oh no, so
I want to talk about that for 1 second first.
I don't know.
I want to know how that conversation ends.
I think it may be better if we don't.
But what does that mean, though?
Are you a Christian?
Why? And I want to talk. Are you okay? Like, bro, you're
because that was a conversation framed under like the Christian world. Like that was a conversation about the Christian worldview and if we can or can't legislate on sins, given that all sins are equal.
I want to talk about abortion for 1 second. I remember that you made like one of those analogies again, and you said, "What if somebody's father, like Donald Trump, giving the power to the states, like a gun? Like, let's say this is what you said. You said, let's say my father, but this is how you talk. I don't know how to say it like you. You said, imagine a father gave his gun to his son to take it to school to do a mass shooting. And you said that's what Trump did. But Trump didn't give them the power. Didn't Dobbs do that, or am I wrong?
So the Dobbs decision is what overturned Roe v. Wade. But ultimately, the only reason why the Dobbs decisions was made was because of Donald Trump's 3 judicial appointments, who he very specifically made to make the Dobbs decision. So the responsibility would be shared by the justices that voted for the Dobbs decision, by the state legislators that after the Dobbs decision banned abortion, and by Trump, who got the ball rolling to begin with.
Who did it though? Who allowed them to do it? Dobbs or Trump?
It was Trump.
Was it Dobbs or Trump though?
It was, well, you don't have the Dobbs without Trump, so therefore it's both.
But who's the guy? Hold on. Let me see it. How do you want me to say it? Hold on. Give me 1 second. I want to talk about something else. Every time that you talk about a girl like getting raped like that,
what?
You act like getting abortion for that, if that does happen, doesn't happen anywhere. It happens everywhere. It's just certain
it's
states,
actually
like the
illegal.
governor.
It's illegal.
The governors and stuff. They're the ones who do all that shit.
My friend, I think that you're.
It's not Donald Trump. And no,
he's disconnected for being too geeked. Goodbye, sir. Goodbye. He's too geeked. He's too faded. He's too faded. He's too faded. He's too faded. Can't debate when you're too faded. He was pondering my thought too hard. He hit the blicky one too many times and came out of the other end of the tunnel way too faded when his moment finally came. Hey, Sarah, I appreciate you for the $10 over on PayPal. Thank you, Sarah, as well as Kaden and Alana. Thank you for the 5. And then Christiane, thank you so much for the 10. It was very kind of you guys. I appreciate you for the love over on PayPal. Now, listen. I think I'm honestly too geeked for these conversations too now. Something I haven't shared with you guys is that after so many hours of this, my brain is like depleted of energy for function. You know, the same way how you will go to the gym and physically work out your muscles, and after, you know, like 4 sets of 12, for instance, you get muscle fatigue and you just can't lift the weight anymore. It works in a very similar way with my brain. After so long of, you know, having these conversations for so many hours per day and going through these concepts, like trying to critically explore what the guest is saying to find out how to prove them wrong, etc., I will get mental fatigue and everything will just become like cloudy, and I become very bad at processing things with my brain. And it's funny because the only person that sees this every single day is my girlfriend. What will happen is I will get off live and, you know, I'll immediately, you know, go downstairs, go see what my girlfriend is up to. And she'll be like trying to say something to me, trying to talk to me. And I'm actually going to go to an end for the day. I just got a text from my girlfriend saying that she's hungry for dinner. So I'm going to go figure out dinner with her. So I love you all. Love you all. I will see you tomorrow. Randy, thank you for the $15 over on PayPal. Holy shit. Thank you, Randy. And Miley, thank you so much for the $20 on PayPal. Shout out to Randy and Miley down below in that comment section. But I'm actually going to go ahead and send you guys on a big ol' raid over to my friend Parker. And we're going to stay on live while we're doing this raid. I want to see how high we can get his viewership. He's doing the same debates that I've been doing for the last 4 hours. He's great, by the way. Parker's a real deal. He's been doing this for longer than I have. His ad is at Parker Get a Job on TikTok and YouTube. Stop asking for the Trump voice. Stop asking for it. You suck, you Antifa terrorists, asking for the Trump voice. Quite frankly, you so bigly suck, you Antifa terrorists. I think what you're doing is, quite frankly, illegal. It's illegal. You're laughing at me, you Antifa terrorists, in the comment section. That's illegal. You can't criticize me. I am gold. Literally. Look at the new statue of me holding the Bitcoin with my big boy pants and suit on the National Mall in DC. Quite frankly. Okay. Okay. All right. Go raid Parker. At Parker, get a job on TikTok. This is our boy right here. Okay, we're actually going to go to turn him up. Let's listen to him cook.
Public universities. So it doesn't mean every single university that people go to is free. It means
He's cooking. He's cooking. Go over there. Leave my stream now. I'm going to end in like 30 seconds. He's cooking. Let's see here. Ginny's on my Ginny supports Trump. At Parker, get a job on TikTok. At Parker, get a job on YouTube. Go raid Parker. Do that right now. At Parker, get a job. Go over there. He's cooking. Listen.
1/10 of our military budget.
Cooked!
1/10 of our military budget, and we reallocated that towards free public universities. Not only would we provide competition for public universities to help drive down the cost of education, higher education, because it's rapidly, increasing in price without necessarily increasing.
What a good idea! Take 1/10 of our military budget, spend it on free school public education. That's Parker. He's great. At Parker, get a job on TikTok. Head over there. Spam Dean Raid in his comment section. At Parker, get a job on YouTube. Head over there. Spam Dean Raid in his comment section. Love y'all. See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Bye-bye.